Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Let's make sure that this joint is working. All right, I'm not sure if it's on. It's like lagging over here, but I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble morning, man. This y'all shorty Rachel. Let me welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. I mean, my bad. The Writers for Life brings it all podcast. All right, I forgot I changed the name. All right, but listen. Today's live. If you think you know history, think again. All right, we're gonna be talking about, the Tainos, red bones, and hidden truths. All right, this is part two to yesterday's live. I want to give a big shout out, all right, and a big thank you, all right, to those that popped up yesterday, rocked out with a shorty, conversed with a shorty, and much more. But before we get part two of this podcast started today, all right, I want to give a big shout out to all the Leos. If it's your birthday today, man, happy Earth Day. Shout out to all the Leos, man. Mine's is in 2 days. All right, I'm gonna be celebrating. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna be chilling, falling back, enjoying my Earth Day. Then I gotta come back, take the kids to school, do what I gotta do. Right, we gotta get back on track. All right, start making that money, paying bills. Listen, doing what we gotta do. But if you're a Leo, this is your birthday month, man. Happy birthday and shout out to all the Leos. Before we get this podcast started, all right, I just want to play two songs, right? One is just, a birthday song for the Leos, all right? Kind of like describing us Leos a little bit, all right? So shout out to the Leos. The second one is a little, a little more passionate, all right? I kind of wrote it, right? Singing to my baby pops. Then I decided, I was like, fuck it, let me write the lyrics down. And boom, I'm definitely going to play this John, all right, on my birthday when I'm with him with that sweet pitch and that Jack Daniels. But man, look, listen, we got a birthday celebration and we got a birthday celebration remix. All right, the birthday celebration is just a regular song describing the Leos. Then the birthday celebration remix is just it's a little more passionate. All right, so shout out to y'all Leos. All right, hope y'all enjoy y'all day and the rest of this Leo month. Shit, y'all know we tuning into Virgo season pretty soon. But shout out to y'all.
Hey, drop the beat. It's August, baby. My birthday month in the golden season. Step aside, cause the kings and queens of the zodiac are in the building. Big lion energy, gold crown shining. And we taking over the entire room. All my fellow Leos, let's show them how royalty celebrates. Let's go. Yeah, 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 hey, yeah. Hey, 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 let's go, let's go. Back on the track with a fast-paced cadence popping. August heat rising in the dance floor jumping. Step into the room, feel the gold aura glowing. That signature Leo charm and confidence overflowing. We generous, loyal, warm-hearted to the core. When the Leo enters, everybody wants some more. Natural born leaders got that magnetic pull. Heart full of passion, living life to the full. Sun ruled royalty, standing fierce and proud. Star power so bright, we illuminate the crowd. It's the Earth Day celebration, pull the pin on the vibe. Calling all the zodiacs, bring a whole tribe. No bash, just love, every sign has a shine. But today we celebrating this fire of mine. Shining blinded by the light, taking over the floor. Got the whole place hyped up, begging for more. Feel the glow aura glowing, watch it step into place. Royal energy shining all over the space. It's your Earth Day, flex hard, let the lion roar tonight. Leo season in the building, shining bright in the light. Protective of our circle, fierce, fearless and bold. Another year around the sun, yeah, we running for the goal. We hold it down, yeah, we never dropping, yeah. It's my month too, got the party going crazy. Turn the bass up loud, ain't nobody feeling lazy. Hands up, feet moving, rhythm bouncing through the floor. Got the whole room hyped up, begging for an encore. We fierce, we proud, put a smile on your face. Bringing big royal energy all over the place. Big-hearted lions always riding for our crew. Unmatched charisma in everything we do. Blow the smoke into the air and make a giant wish. Everybody dancing to a track as hot as this. So raise a glass high, hit the gas, feel the drive. Shaking up the atmosphere, so glad to be alive. Golden light in the veins, heavy bass in the street. Leo season stepping up, generating pure heat. Commanding every spotlight, warm energy so true. Generous spirit in everything we put our hearts through. Crank the volume to the top, watch it into the trance. Put your glass in the air, let the royal energy rise. Gold crown on the head, seeing fire in our eyes. Unstoppable shine, natural leaders on the mic. We rep the crown and we setting all the wrongs right. Flashlights, loud beats, Central stage where we stand, got the whole crowd moving, jumping up on command. Rapid fire rhythm, make your speaker boxes shake. Infectious good vibes that nobody can fake. Big heart, grand spirit, keep the decibels peak. Spreading pure motivation every time that we speak. We stepping in the light while the bass beat drops. Leo season running hot in the heat never stops. Pure positive energy, we spreading the sound. Light up the whole city when we step in your town. Regal, bold, magnetic, yeah, we born to take the lead. Spreading warmth and inspiration is the code that we bleed. Happy Earth Day to all my fellow Leos. We bringing that royal heat all August long, taking over the whole kingdom. So turn the speakers to the max and let the lions roar. It's your birthday, holding it down. Writers for life, and that's on every day. North Philly, baby.
August heat, golden hour.
And shout out to all the Leos, all right? Shout out to my, fiance for making my birthday, my birthday month as good as it is, and for letting me enjoy and have a break.
August heat, golden hour.
Blowing out the candles, but I'm making the heat rise. The lioness is on the throne, taking full power. Pop the golden bottle, turn the lights down low. Let's see if you can handle this. Leo glow. Tick, tick, tock on the clock. Got the frosting on top. When I step into the room, make the heartbeat stop. Go to main floating as I stride through the space. Got a wrapped up present, better unwrap slow. Leo season heavy, got the crown on tilt. Calling over my poppy, cause this lion need a melee. A bottle of sweet bitch, a shot of Jack, the best foursome. The hubby Mary Jane Jack and a shorty litty lit. Awesome. It's a Sunday and Zaddy got a shorty doing splits on a platinum. Ay Dios mío, papi. Got a shorty going crazy, fast and slow. Treat me like a birthday cake, setting the room on fire. Seductive with the stare, make a wish, hold tight. We just getting started on this August night. Hands on my waist while the baseline thrives. Locked on the crown, yeah, I'm doing my job. Leo season heat, turning up the temperature. Uncut raw, ain't no PG for the amateur. Leo energy, can't lock it in the cage. Make a wish, blow it out, ruling the scene. Stepping out supreme like an August queen. De tron. Esta reina se sienta en la falda de este papi morenito y los demás que se jodan. Say it proud, say it clear, yeah, we taking flight. We holding solid, yeah, we shining bright. Slide down, ride the tempo, hit the rhythm and accent. Got you mesmerized, wonder where the last 10 minutes went. Solar power pulsing, hit the mark in the dark. Got the champagne popping and the red lights low. Flirting with the rhythm, running circles in your head. Serving up a royal treat, painted ruby red. Shady with the quick wit, shorty with the bounce. Serving up the spicy heat by the heavy hit ounce. One more candle, feel the heat build up. Pour another glass, fill the golden cup. Countdown 3, 2, 1, let the speakers roar. The lioness is hungry and she wants much more. Light up the room, watch the gold crown shine. Spilling sweet bitch wine while I claim what's mine. Party going wild while the sub bass thumps. Esta reina manda y el club entero brinca y brinca. Raising up the glasses, taking over the scene. We hold a golden trophy like a true August queen. Whisper in the dark, let the candle wax drip. Now pick the pace back up and let the microphone flip. Let's get the party started, it's an Earth Day celebration. Open up the jack, let it pour towards my navel, lick it off. Turn me on the table, hands on my back, doggy style, how he loves it best. Took a lick of that chocolate Tootsie Roll pop, no rest. Discovered it takes more than 100 licks to get to the bottom. A shorty on top, count 69, got started. Ay,
Papi,
papi morenito sabe lo que yo
yo necesito.
Wet sweat dripping, got the whole frame shaking. Real street royalty, ain't no copycat faking. Spicy Leo energy, running every single space. Throwing up the crown while I sit on his face.
Ay, papi.
Another year better, another year ruling the kingdom. It's my birthday, holding it down. Writers for life, and that's on everything. North Philly, baby.
Mi papi morenito sabe lo que yo necesito. Yes, baby. That's a side of a shorty that a lot of y'all don't know, don't see. I have to be real goofy for y'all to see that side of me, man. Shout out to the fiance for knowing how to bring that side out of a out of a shorty. Man, we got mouthpiece in this John, man. Shout out to YouTube's incredible Hawk. All right, we got David Banner's YouTube. I mean David Banner's we got YouTube's David Banner. Shit, I'm over here stuttering and eating my words. I apologize. See, man, we got a whole nother puppy morenito in the chat, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If Shorty see Dark Meek and she get all discombobulated, I gotta apologize, man. Blessings to the king in the chat. All right. Shout out to Mouthpiece. We got Sassy 81 for life in the building. Shout out to Sassy 81. All right. Man, blessings to all the kings, all right? Not just my fiance, but all the papi morenitos out there in the world, man. Blessings to y'all. Shout out to y'all and y'all queens. If y'all in a relationship, if y'all not, look, listen, man. It's a lot going on within our communities with our black men. All right, so I mean, we gotta speak up. We gotta speak up. This man, shout out to Mr. Oates. Mr. Oates got me diving down these rabbit holes. All right, for real, for real. So listen, like the title says, if you think you know history, think again. All right, like we've been talking about Tainos, we've been talking about the history of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania, for it to be, even though Pennsylvania is not the biggest state out here, right? Like, Texas comes first and plenty of other states. But for Pennsylvania, right, not to be a big ass state, all right, it feels like it sure as hell is. It feels like the largest state out there. But I know it's not. I know it's not, all right? And I'm not bigging up my state, all right? I'm from Philly. It's just crazy, right? How many secrets we see, like within our own state, within our own city. Do you know the secrets that lie within your own city, within your own state? See, because I thought that I knew everything that I had to know, right, when it comes to PA, when it comes to my roots, right? But there is so much more, all right, to learn, especially with us knowing how they have erased, all right, history, the erasure of history. For those of you like, what is she talking about? Make sure y'all go catch part one of this live, all right, which I did last night. I did a little 2 hour live because it's like ain't nobody was gonna hit the link, so I ain't feel like repeating myself because I felt like I was gonna hit that time where I was gonna just repeat myself. You see where I'm coming from? But I want y'all to know. Look, listen, all right. Mouthpiece have said it, and he's been touching on it a lot lately. All right, the things that have been happening throughout history, what happened to our ancestors, it ain't stopped. All right, all it has done, it has changed. All right, bodies have changed, faces have changed, names have changed. All right, the era has changed. What we do has changed, but racism never stopped. All right, and as crazy as it sounds, I've said it. All right, listen, a lot of us, all right, are mixed. We got European in our DNA. We got we got African DNA in our veins. We got Taino, which I don't know why they separate Taino from African DNA. They should just leave it there. But I get it because you got the West Africans. I mean, look, listen, it's split out. So many cultures, all right, so many ethnicities, so many roots. You see where I'm coming from? Oh, you missed it. Man, listen, I kept changing the live. That's why, cause it's like that's why I tell people, man, I ain't get the pop up queen for nothing. They ain't just give me the name pop up queen for nothing. I ain't like, listen. The link is in my community wall. Okay, anybody want to come up, chop it up? All right, on this topic right here. I know that a little while back we did a live and we was going way back before colonization, right? And you know how people say women this and women that. Yo, when we did the history of the Tainos, the Cherokees, the I think we did a little bit of the red, and we went back, all right, the West Africans, the Moorish. We did the history of a lot, right? We dove down so many rabbit holes that right now it's like I'm gonna twist my tongue if I try to mention every tribe and every culture that we dove down, right? So when we was diving down these rabbit holes, I learned that back before colonization happened, right? Men and women, all right, even though ops existed throughout all of history, everybody had ops within their own tribes, ops within their own community, all right, which community now, tribes back then, right? Villages, my bad. Y'all get where I'm coming, man. Sometimes my head gets in the maze and sometimes I can't find the haze, but I think I just found the haze. So give me 1 second. All right, time to smoke. Give me 1 second. Let me turn this camera off. Listen, listen, listen. Oh shit, we got Miss Chicago in the building. Shout out to Miss Chicago. We got the beautiful Miss Chicago in the building. All right, this is what I'm trying to say. All right, there was a point in time where men and women, all right, did things together. All right, they worked together. So it's crazy how I'm looking at, how I'm looking at us now. I look at my own community sometimes and I just shake my head and I was like, damn, man, we've been so brainwashed to the point that, yo, and they blame it all on just the kids, but these kids are opening up their eyes. These kids are opening up their eyes and they're learning about their own history, about their parents' tribes, all right? Listen, believe it or not, right? How can I put this into words? I think, you know what? I think I got the song. Yep, I think you know what, the song is going to best describe it. And guys, like I said, the link is in the community wall for anybody that wants to hit this link and chop it up with a shorty. All right, let me see. Where's my song at? All right, my song kind of describes how I feel. All right, because I'm native to both lands. All right, listen. I had ancestors here in Philadelphia, the same way that I've had ancestors in Puerto Rico. All right, so I don't know if y'all have heard the song. I've even put a poem. It's in my book too, man. Like if y'all don't notice, all these songs I got ain't nothing more than just lyrics. All right, turned into poems turned into lyrics from all my music. Why can't I find the goddamn song? Where is it? Give me 1 second, guys. Am I on the right one? Yes. So, what the fuck is? Let me see. I'm gonna have to search it like this. Oh, where is? Here we go. Damn, why it took so long to find it? Can you put it in the chat? I'm gonna try to put it in the chat, but StreamYard is acting stupid, right? So you see, StreamYard got me on vertical right now because I ain't paid it. So StreamYard is acting a little stupid right now. Give me 1 second. I got y'all. But try to put it in the chat, but it's also in the community wall. Here we go. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me play the music.
Riders for life. Welcome to Philly, baby. They call it Philadelphia. Wasn't born here, but the streets did the raising. Straight from Ponce, Puerto Rico. That's the old in the heritage lands in my veins. In the world where they charging for the air and the rain. But HP is my home, even when my heart bleeds. Ooh, yeah. Watching the struggle grow like some poisonous weed. Looking around, I'm just lost in the maze. Questions in the dark, living life in the haze. Egos on fire, everybody's offended. Reach for the goal, but the anger and the pride take a toll on the soul. Opinions get silenced, a disheartening view. In the HP community where the shorty grew up, back then it was love, didn't matter the block. We were vibing together, never looking at the clock. No matter the colors or the place we were from, we were solid as a rock. Never felt we had to run, then the shift happened. Innocence on the floor, kids going missing, death knocking at the door. Mistaken identity, now the hate's in the eyes. I miss the old days before the truth turned to lies. Looking at the community, just shaking our heads. Strings on their backs, they're so easily led. Waiting for a savior or a puppet master's command. While the real warriors rise up to take a stand. Unyielding spirit, my voice is revealing. Trying to find a cure for the that won't move out the way. Now it's all about race. Who can take, who can gain? Talking about progress while they faking the change. They don't care about the residents living the life. They just stir up the trouble and they sharpen the knife. Deep in my soul, there's a wish that unfolds to flip back the script on the stories they told. Our kids are like sponges, they soak in the scene, mimicking the monsters and the things that they've seen. Locked in a cage in a prison's embrace, acting gangster for a crowd while they losing the race. Parents getting lazy, just losing the grip. Communication dying, watching everyone slip. Gunfire escalates, the bitterness flips. Parents and the children on some enemy trips. You demand that they change, but you refuse to lead when the guidance is hollow. How can they succeed? In HP we struggle, we fight just to breathe. We spit in this truth for the ones who believe. Unleashing the spirit, let the words start to glow. HP's in my blood. Now you know. A shorty from Ponce, representing the spot. North Philly, baby. HP, baby. Believe it or not. Riders for life. Riders for life. We out. Riders for life.
And that's some real shit right there. All right, we're gonna be reviewing and reacting to some videos. All right, we got two videos. One is the Red Bones. All right, who are really the Red Bones? And the other one is we're gonna dive down the history of the Tainos. Let me hold on one second. I'm trying to get all these videos together. All right, now I did leave the link in my community wall. The link is also in the chat. All right. Now, if you cannot hit the link from the vertical chat, man, you're going to have to hit my community wall if you want to get on this, John. All right. I've been listening to Mr. Oates, so when I do go live, all right, I'm going to be dropping the links. Enjoy me while y'all can, man. Come chop it up with a shorty because I am going to really, just take a little, break from the podcasting and I'm going straight to the vlogging. Y'all going to be seeing me in downtown more in Philadelphia, hitting the vertical. I'm going to be vlogging more. We're going to be doing vacations a little more. I'm going to be uploading, all right, my little gym journey. So I'm going back to the gym and y'all going to be seeing me work out again. I don't like this poop. This poop, listen, I can keep the thickness. All this thickness, oh, baby, I want it. I don't want to lose it. But that pooper got to fucking go. I look like a pregnant. Listen, man, I look like Roly Poly and fucking Oli mixed together. Have you ever seen a cartoon? Yes, I'm a Disney baby. But let's talk about this, all right? Let's get on topic. Let's get on topic. Let's talk about it because yesterday we cracked open PA's hidden secrets, all right, in the Taino heritage, and we were supposed to slide into Louisiana's Red Bones, all right. Who are they really? We walk around like we got all the answers. Like one TikTok video or one family story made us, how can I say historians overnight? But it's not like that. We're still learning. And I'm the first one to say it. All right. Like I told y'all yesterday, I'm not perfect. I'm beyond perfect and I'm still learning. I love history. I love digging. I love questioning. All right. I love questioning what we've been told because half the time it's missing pieces or told from one side. And correct me if I'm wrong. All right. If we're all still learning, why do so many people act like they already know it all? But I could be, I could be a little, I could still probably be lost in the maze trying to find the haze. But listen, yesterday we touched on the Tainos. Like, do they still exist? And when I say that, all right, I'm not just talking about, oh yeah, descendants exist. I'm asking, are there still pure-blooded Tainos or is it just us? All right, the descendants carrying the line forward. That's a heavy question because it forces you to think about survival, erasure, and how people get labeled, all right, over time. Some people get written out, how can I say, get written out of history, all right, while their bloodline is still walking around, breathing, laughing, raising kids, and living life. We don't have all the answers yet, but that's what we keep diving down these rabbit holes for. Because every time we go deeper, we find something that makes us rethink we thought we already, what we are. It makes us think about what we already think we already knew. All right, y'all know how y'all hear me sometimes saying the community wall is now named posts. Let me show y'all real quick. Let me share my screen. Share the screen. Share the screen. All right. I don't know if y'all can see my screen. Y'all know how, you go to my channel, right? And it says home, videos, shorts, live, podcast, playlists. Well, it's going to say posts. All right. And on the post, y'all going to see the link to my community wall. It's going to be on blue. That's going to be the only way that a lot of y'all is going to be able to hit the link. If not, y'all won't be able to hit the link. Y'all have to actually go to the community wall. So, I mean, it used to be called community wall, but now it's called posts. So for those of y'all that don't know what a community wall, right now it's called post. They changed the community wall into something. Let me see. If I hit community, what will it take me to? What is my community? Oh, I can still post on my community. This is a little different. Oh, but it shows everybody I'll be sharing. Oh, damn. Mouthpiece got me over. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be on the fucking ancestors. Wait, go back, Rachel. Go back. The hell is you doing? Yeah, but that's where the community wall is right now. They changed it from community wall to post. So hopefully that was, I was able to help a lot of people that don't know what a community wall is right on the post. Now I gotta get back to my video. Where the hell's my video at? Perdóname mi amor por todo el tiempo que te amé y te hice daño. Dame demasiado. We got YouTube's David Banner in the building. Big shout out to my big bro. How you doing, big bro? Blessings, blessings on top of blessings.
Big blessings on top of blessings. You already know, Queen. How you feeling? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm
Okay, bet.
chilling, chilling,
Okay, bet. I just wanted to make sure the mic, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how sometimes it be like that,
chilling,
man.
chilling.
The Rice Krispie treat sound kind of kick in sometimes. You got to be careful.
I've been, diving down these rabbit holes. I've been listening on these cases, break down these
Yeah.
videos and stuff like that
Excellent job.
from
Excellent job,
um
family.
from Nolan Wells to. So it's like it's time for us to just dive down some rabbit holes, like Mr. Oates said, and learn some of our history and some of our roots. I was like, I'm tired. Like it's too much
Uh,
drama, too much. Let me take it another direction. These videos ain't going viral, so it sounds crazy, but I just want to, put this out there, like for people to see, like, man, there's way more than what we think.
True indeed. True indeed. I myself have found myself going down that similar hole a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? Due to all of this, all of this crazy shit that's going on in Jacksonville, Mississippi, you know what I'm saying, throughout the country, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going on down there. It's like a mass killer group of white tea people, or should I say Klansmen, hanging brothers and sisters, left and right. Every time you look around, you see another hanging going on.
But
Like
yeah,
it's like every other week. It was just one announced earlier. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm gonna have to check it out. I kind of feel guilty. I scrolled right past it. I was like, damn, I don't want to hear this shit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't help but do it. It's just, yeah, y'all. Big Mouthpiece did it, y'all. Oh, come on, brother. Yeah, I did it, y'all. Damn. But it's all right though. It's just you get so tired of hearing it.
but
That's just the example
is
I wanted to
that
just share. Yeah, it's just so man, it's so triggering. Go right ahead, Queen. Pardon me on that.
no, you're right on that, and it's not just that. It's just that the other stuff like overshadows it. Like lately, I haven't been getting nothing about, how can I say the like people have been telling me about the hangings and all that in Mississippi about the women and all that. Like when Mr. Oates asked me the other day, I'm sitting here I was like, wait, what? I haven't gotten no like my phone ain't ping none of that telling me about none of that stuff. If anything, it
Right,
pings about what's going on here in Philadelphia, yes, because I know I got to do a live
right.
about the Philly news, but it is not pinging on them type of news. Like, damn, I'm not knowing what's actually going on outside of Philadelphia besides celebrity gossip or the drama that's going on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok. I'll get that before I'll get those type of news. Now I was like, wait a minute, I changed my algorithm. Why in the world am I getting celebrity gossip all over again? Why in the world is the drama reappearing in my algorithm like this? So it's crazy. So I'm a little late behind a lot of stuff.
No, you actually on time because the way you kicking this down, I ain't gonna lie. It's a big connection to the Tainos. You know what I'm saying? Shout out and big salute to all the Taino Indians out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hold on 1 second, sir. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a big connection, and people don't understand. Like, it's not. Oh my bad. Oh, he said, hold on. He coming right back. It is a big connection when you look at it, right? The not the Tainos, the Arawaks and a few other tribes. All right, were the first ones here. But a lot of people think that, it's only the people that were enslaved, that, they only know about, like the Moorish, and they don't even know the whole history about the Moorish. I remember diving down that rabbit hole, and a lot of people didn't know about the stuff that was going on with the Moorish and how it's different groups. You see where I'm coming from? Like the same one with the Africans, the Cherokees, the Red Bones, the
Yeah,
what
yeah.
are the
Okay,
Mexican
I'm
ones
back now.
called? I
Okay, I'm
forget.
back. Pardon me, y'all. Yeah, I had something working on in the oven. You know how that goes early morning. You know you got to get that good breakfast in you. You know what I'm saying? But I had to make sure I ain't burn that there because you know how that goes. However,
Facts, facts, facts.
yeah,
Be
exactly. You feel me? You gotta,
yeah,
you
it's
gotta
it's
have
a
it
big
ready for
connection.
when you get done
Like,
baking.
even
You gotta
though
keep
it's
baking.
only
Go right
about
ahead.
peas, that's a fact though. And you eating healthy too. You ain't put. I don't hear you talking about no grease or none of that shit early in the morning.
Nah,
He talking about
no.
baked breakfast.
Yeah. You gotta bake it up. You know what I'm saying? We from the bake gang. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the bakery gang. You know what I'm saying? Everybody putting it in the oven. Okay, salute to y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you baking right now, shout out to you too. By the way. But however, yeah, I can see the connection too
But we
because man,
have
like
to
I was
learn
saying
about
earlier,
this in order to understand.
go right ahead, Queen. Go right ahead.
You went on mute. No, I was telling you. I said there is definitely a big connection, and in order to understand what the hell is going on right now, like with the Nolan Well situation, with all these cases that are going viral and they're getting isolated, right? And I say yes, isolated because there are similar cases happening within our communities in the hood,
Yep.
all right, and they're happening by the hundreds, all right. Like, as crazy as it sounds, they make it seem like that these kids are the only ones. No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't worry about what happened to them. What I'm saying, if we're going to talk
No, of course
about it,
not.
let's use it as an example, right? And
Yeah,
not just talk about that one case, but also bring along all the other cases that are similar within your own community. You see where I'm coming from? That's what you
exactly.
call being
Exactly.
woke. Let's not just,
That's right.
how can I
Come on.
say, because the family is doing what the family's got to do. Now, we support the family not just by talking about what happened to Nolan Wells, but you know how many similar cases there are to the Nolan Wells case in
Too
not
many.
just in his city, all right, but
Too many.
within our own cities,
Mhm.
all right. And as crazy as it sounds, right? Mouthpiece was just talking about the hangers. All right, I just learned about what was it? The woman that got hung in the backyard. Was it Mississippi or
Yep.
somewhere
Yep.
around there?
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not sure
Yep.
about.
Mississippi,
A
Taser
lot of people are
Fortune. No,
talking
you're
about
right.
it now.
Yep. Yep. That's Taser Fortune. You're absolutely
But do
right.
you
That's
hear
Taser
about
Fortune.
this in the news? You're not.
No. Hell
Yeah,
no.
I'm not really hearing about this in the news. I'm hearing about it through
Man.
podcasters,
Yep.
YouTubers,
Yep.
vloggers, and I can't. It's crazy because I'm saying vloggers. Vloggers don't focus on this type of shit. There's a
Yeah.
difference between a podcaster and a vlogger. A vlogger, all right, vlog life about their life or the city or whatever. A
Mhm.
podcaster does what we do. We'll sit here, we review, react to videos, have people come on a panel, have a
Yep.
conversation, or like other people do, have debates.
There we go.
You see where I'm coming from? But
Yep. Right
we're
on
not
Jack.
talking about this enough. Like, it's not enough content creators really taking this situation serious. I've seen you, Mouthpiece, take it serious. We unlock. I've seen the word take it serious. But even
Yeah. Shout out to the word.
even I've seen y'all. It's like y'all have to like keep repeating, going back around, right? Because it's like people want to keep ignoring the fact that you're not saying this to drag it. You're saying it to have people look at the fact that, look, listen, shit ain't changed throughout time. History hasn't fucking how can I say continued, it paused. All right,
Come on.
all it has done is
Come
just
on.
changed uniforms,
That's it.
faces, and names. That's it. People are stuck
That's
on
it.
just 3 families owning the world when it's really 13 families, and I'm not ashamed to say it over here because I'm
Come
not
on.
defaming them, I'm not bashing
Nope.
them, I'm not
Not at
talking
all.
bad about them. I'm just putting
Not at
some
all.
facts out there that a lot of people don't know. Go search it up. Papa Duck has broken this down to the best that he can on his channel. I've seen other few content creators try to break it down. There's only but much that we could say as regular citizens, all right, as
Mhm.
the government ourselves. It's only but much that we could say because we are
Sure do.
censored too to a certain extent, and people don't peep that. If we want to keep
Mhm.
talking, we have to keep our channels. All right, and a lot of us have worked hard as shit to make it to where we at to build the subscribers. It's not about the fucking money. All right, the
Nope.
views matter, yes, because we're trying to reach an audience, but not every view fucking matters to us. Because if you're not on point, if you're not on topic, you don't give a fuck. Right now, to me, what you're thinking, I don't give a fuck. It could go both ways, and people not seeming to understand that. My message is for whoever needs to hear it. Just like everybody else that's hitting on these important topics when they hear it. I mean, does money help? Yes, it does help to support the channel, all this in order for us to keep going. But y'all don't see a lot of us, oh, hit that cash app or, hit that super chat. No, we want to really have a conversation going and really bring a solution to the table. I've seen
Yes.
Mouthpiece have dope ass panels. Mouthpiece channel should be up, but it's not. And I'm
Come
not
on.
saying it up
It's
like
all
for,
good.
oh, he wants to be famous. I'm saying up to
Right.
the
Right. Right.
point where there should be more people focused on these conversations the way he's doing it.
There we
He's
go.
not
There
playing
we
with
go.
it. He's not joking with it. He's bringing a
Facts.
message and he's bringing awareness to it. But the issue that we have now, people want to, how can I say, pay more attention to the drama. Without the drama, without the beef, people can't focus. We can't put videos out there longer than 30 seconds to a minute because people's, how can I say, attention spam doesn't go further than 60 seconds.
Come on.
And it's been proven. Why y'all think TikTok is making millions off their
Let's
fucking
go.
shorts.
Let's go.
Why? Because
Right.
that's all people
Right.
can focus
You
on.
in your zone. You in your zone right
Like,
now. Go ahead.
listen,
Keep cooking,
man,
Jay.
if
I'm gonna
we
let
ain't
you cook.
cursing
I'm gonna
each
let
other
you.
out and fucking shedding blood,
Let's go.
because I've heard you talk about this and nobody really pay attention. I bring it to my
Yeah.
panel and it's like, oh
Appreciate
wait,
that.
ain't no drama over here. And then you see
Right. Right.
people
Right.
running. They come in like
Yeah.
they see people, oh, Writers for Life is part of, I'm not part of no sector. I'm part of Writers for Life,
Yeah.
but I'm known to be more in certain sectors. But as crazy as it sounds, right? YouTube is a big ass fucking place. It's not just about beef and drama.
Nah,
All right,
man.
there's way more to talk
Everything
about. I
ain't
could hop
always
on
about
Mouthpiece
exactly.
panel and have a conversation. Go ahead. My bad.
Yes.
No, because it's
No.
like
No.
it's the
No. You
truth. I
got
can
it.
have a
No.
conversation with you. Why is it so hard with other men?
Because the niggas
Real shit.
egotistical.
And that's the issue that we're having.
Oh shit.
It's look, man. No, the problem is that they're not looking back in history. Now, when I go back all the way back into
Yeah.
history, and I'm not talking about the fight, take the Bible out this equation. All right,
Yeah.
we're talking about history. We're not talking about a book that's been, made by man, given to man. All right, from
Mm-hmm.
scriptures and tablets that are
Redistributed.
hidden in the fucking
Redistributed and tainted.
Vatican.
Yeah.
All right,
Facts. Facts.
facts. We're talking about stories that have been passed on down from fucking families. All right, take it all the way back before colonization. All right.
Mhm.
Only in the fucking Bible I hear about homosexuality. All right. And I'm not trying to bash nobody or bring the community in. I just made a bold statement and I want people to think about what I just said. I'm trying to go further back into history. All right. The Tainos are when, languages wasn't understood before English, the English language was fucking made. Gonna
Indeed.
go back all the way over there, and I'm like, wait, homosexuality don't exist, but in the Bible says about Sodom and Gomorrah existed. But I'm trying to find it somewhere in real life and histories, in the stories told within people. All right, passed down from tribe to tribe, generation after generation, which somewhere along the line in our generation got lost in the generation before us, because that's where history paused. We did not continue to give on the stories to our kids. We got distracted. Was it our parents? Was it us? On that one, I'm stuck. I'm gonna be honest. I was born in '89. All right. I was raised in the '90s. I'm more of a 2000s baby. All right. Here I am, about to be 37 in 2 fucking days. All right, trying to figure out more about not just my lineage, but others, because somehow my lineage ties to the Moorish lineage. All right, the West
Let's go.
Africans and more.
Let's go. Well, I myself, I'm
So,
also
I
a
mean, I'm
West
not
African
saying
man, by the
we're
way.
all
I'm
one
gonna
big
keep it 100.
family.
Shout out to the West Side.
See? So
So
there
it's
you
funny
go.
you say that.
And I
It's very
asked,
funny you say
I
that.
asked it yesterday when
Yeah.
we was talking about the DNA. Why is
Mhm.
it that they separate us like that? Real
Because we
shit.
more easier to
Who
control,
are we
divided.
really? Because the erasure is real. Yesterday we was go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying
Mm,
we more. I think they got it like that because
they wrong.
we more easier to
Because
control,
yesterday,
divided, than us being together. You know what I'm saying? When we unify, we too powerful. That's what that was the major focus of it all, is to keep everybody separated. You know what I'm saying? Even with the tribal aspect. At one point in time, all our tribes, they collided. They was kicking it with each other. Some of them had treaties and all type of shit. But then, still, even though in the
it
opposition,
was because
had it. Everybody had the same
they was
opposition.
trying to save each other.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Facts. And it's like I tell people, right? Like when you look at it, right? At what point did the Arawaks, turn into the Tainos? Did they get separated? Or is it that they're really descendants? Because when you look at history, it is kind of confusing, right? Even people out here don't even know about it. And I'm saying here, it's like I went so far back to even learn, right? When you go into history before slavery ended, all right? And slavery, I mean, listen, it hasn't ended, but I gotta say it like this, all right? For those of you that don't understand,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
the Tainos were
yeah.
rescued, right,
Allegedly.
by the West Africans, right, in the Moorish, right? I'm sitting
Uh-huh.
here and I'm thinking that's how the us descendants came about, right? The Puerto Ricans, what we call ourselves Puerto Ricans, from the island of the Boican or whatever part of Puerto Rico we
Boricua.
come from. I come from the Boicans,
Salud.
right? So you hear my family would really, really represent the Bohicans a lot. And I used to ask, what the fuck is a Bohican? You see where I'm coming from? I'm like, yo, I used to
Yeah,
question and question and question until I learned myself. Until I figured a lot of
exactly.
shit out. I was trying to figure out what my uncle's tattoos in his body were of these Taino women and men and gods and all these symbols in his body. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But as I got older, I learned I didn't pay that shit no mind when I was a kid because I was being a kid. Besides the darkness in my childhood, I was really trying to be a kid. All right. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I blame myself for not learning. I just try to say, I'm going to sit here and say, look, I put a shield up, all right, and protected myself from what was going on, all right, and still trying to be a child at the same time. Those that understand what I'm trying to say by that. But others, I'm
I
trying to
tell
figure
you, if
out
you
the
know, you
excuse.
know.
I ask
If you
questions
know,
and
you
you
know.
still don't know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here,
Yeah.
I was like, listen, they split us up. Like if at one point some of us wasn't together, like if the Tainos wasn't mixing and mingling with the West Africans and the Moorish, and voila, you got us beautiful Puerto Ricans. That's why you don't ever hear me say, oh, listen, I come from a European. No, I say, listen, I come from the blood of black people. And I don't even want to say black people. I want to say Africans, whichever side, because as crazy as it sounds, it don't matter if it's the West Africans, the regular Africans, the North Africans, all right, the South Africans. They're
Yeah.
in my veins. Their blood flows through my fucking veins. I don't have a choice. I can't pick a side when it comes to that. All right. So
Let's go.
I'm tired of fucking hearing people sit here like my daughter always, oh, why is your brother white and your other brother caramel? Why is your sister like this? Because only black people can make children of different colors. That's why. Brown people
Talk
and
to
black
him.
people need to stop
Let's
fighting each other
go.
and figure out what the fuck is our tribe. Yesterday they kept saying, all right, like me, I'm 60% Taino. All right. When I got this shit checked, doctor. Now, no fucking ancestry, no 1, 2, 3, whatever you call that shit. None of that. My doctor actually told me because I wanted to figure out who my dad was. So they took my DNA and she just sat there and read the results to me because I didn't understand a fucking word that fucking paper said to me. They talking about numbers, letters. All right, I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is RH? And I'm sitting here like, what the hell is all this? Right? So like she said that she read that shit. So basically, I got 60% Arawak in my blood. That 40% of European, all right, is split between fucking Italian, Irish, and everything else you want to name in the world. All right, it's in me. All right, I'm a mixed fucking breed. I'm a mutt, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But it breaks my heart have to sit here and try to explain to my daughter about her heritage All right, her dad is Moorish. I'm Taino. And my daughter still gets confused because she'll go to school and get taught this. The kids will sit here and say this because of what the parents taught them, right? And half of them don't even know who they are. Yesterday, I'm sitting here, I was like, yo, they said that you could find your last name, right? In the, how can I say, in the indigenous, registry list, right? And I'm saying here, how the hell can you find your name when our names were stolen? When you look at my last name, both of them are Spanish. So what does that tell you?
They tell you that you got a Hispania background that's deep up in there.
It tells me that my ancestors were a part of slavery. My ancestors, my family were those families. I don't know if they were taken within the own island or taken from somewhere else and brought to the island. You see where I'm coming from? Either way, we know
I,
that
I,
in
I think
Erie,
I think it may be both. I think it might be both, Queen, because I think it's a little bit of both. Because remember, they pretty much the same thing how they did in Africa. It was people from their own land getting taken, and it was people that was with the other people that was getting taken also, like by trade. You know what I'm saying? Because it was
hmm
trades.
but let me
They
ask you
used to
this,
trade.
mouthpiece.
They used to trade us off too.
You
That
know,
was a big thing going on.
big, especially the West Africans. Listen, in Africa, a lot of them and it was their own people. That's what fucks me up in the head. That's why
Man,
I say ops existed throughout time.
that's
That
right.
has existed
Yeah,
throughout time. That I know for a fact. All right,
it
it's
did.
throughout
Sure
history
did.
books, not just the Bible, not just here,
Nah, nah. We go beyond
but
that, y'all.
this homosexuality and this shit that we're teaching our boys, this feminism that we're giving our boys, that has not existed throughout time. You point out where in what history book, all right, what tablet out there from, or what family has a story where it says, well, the men were fucking the men back in the days. You see where I mean, listen, that's the
Yeah,
best way I'm gonna say, I'm not even,
I
because I'm not
appreciate it.
trying to get clapped. YouTube is
And I
good.
appreciate that.
So,
I appreciate the
I
way
mean,
you
can
putting
y'all
that.
point
That's
it
a real.
out? Tell me, where do y'all see it? Until
That
colonization started, it didn't exist.
that's true. That is absolutely true.
War did.
Because
War always
our
existed
tribes
in
was
different
not.
forms.
Yeah, because the tribes was not doing no Bati boy movement. There was no Bati movement. It was
Thank
all
you.
just
There was no
100
lesbians either,
solid
though.
families. Was it? No, it was no, 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 not at all, not at all. But however, that was just the way it had to be. Like it was ordained. It was ordered. You know what I
I'm
mean?
listening.
You couldn't be part of no tribe if you didn't have that because they want to make sure you solid. You're gonna take care of your family. You got to take care of your tribe too, just like your family. So it had to be straight alpha male activity. You know what I'm saying?
That
No beta, no zeta. You know what I'm saying? None of that.
the
None of that.
men,
You got to be
hmm
with the cloth. You got to show and prove that you with the cloth.
the
Go
men did
go
what they
do
had
some
to do.
hunting. That's right. Let's go.
But even back then, mouthpiece. Let me say this, right? And
Okay.
this is
Okay.
no bashing the women, right? So,
Not
but
at
I'm
all.
asking you as a man, go back into
All
history
right.
before colonization. Did the women try to be stronger than the men? I mean, there were queens, women tribe leaders, yes. But here's
No.
my thing:
No. Not at all.
yes,
Not at
women
all. They always
hunted
combined.
and stuff like that, but it was
Yeah.
the men that did the heavy lifting. Who built the
Yeah.
world? It wasn't the
There we
women; it
go.
was the men.
Come on.
The, Now the women nurtured, the women cooked.
There
I'm
we
not
go.
saying I'm trying to go all the way back to that.
No,
You see what
not
I'm
at all. Not
saying?
at all.
What I'm
Yep.
trying to say
But
is,
but women
look
do
at the
play a
difference
definite
between
part.
colonization.
Hmm.
Exactly. It went hand in hand, is my point.
It did. It definitely
Until
did. I agree
colonization
100%.
came about.
Hmm.
Then they went and told us that half of our ancestors, right, were extinct. Well, tell me why there are tribes still fighting for their lands in different countries, even here in the United States, that still claim their tribal name. But us, we don't know what our tribal name. We can't go in their list and find our name because it has been erased. All right. Our families, it tells me that we were the families that were stolen, kidnapped, taken into slavery by force. I don't know if I'm saying the right words. I hope I
No, you saying
am
the right
trying to
words.
get y'all
You
to
cooking.
understand
No,
and
you
try
you
not
no,
to
you
get
cooking.
clapped at the same time. So it leads me to know
No, you cooking,
because
Queen. You got it.
who am I besides Raquel? My mother named Raquel, but she was not that Rodriguez. It's not her tribal name. Now her father still has a tribal first name, which is crazy to me, but last name is not tribal. It's Spanish. That gets me to think, what the fuck is our tribal's name? And will we ever find it? I asked it yesterday, and I think somebody in the chat said, we don't think that we will ever be able to find our name. But how far back can we look already knowing how much of our tribe we know of? I mean, I think we could, but people are telling me we can't. If I went as far as to find out my tribe, where I come from, how far my history goes, I think I should be able to find out who was it that, took away my ancestor's name, right? Who was the first one? All you got to do is just follow the names. Where did it change? At one point, it changed. Just think about it. So let me get into this video real quick. I don't know if Mouthpiece got something else to say about that. But one thing I can sit here and
Not at
say
all.
is,
Not at all. I don't have much to say at all, Queen. I think you're cooking it right quite professionally. You're doing an excellent job. Proceed.
one thing I can say is, right, I heard about red bones, right, growing up, but I didn't really understand it, right? Now, we're going to touch, right? We're going to touch on the red bones and who they really are because this topic got layers. I laugh when I hear red bones sometimes because as much as I hear dudes say, I love me some red bones, half of them couldn't even tell you what that actually means beyond she light skinned and cute. All right? I'm sorry,
And
guys.
every
I'm
time I
sorry,
hear that word,
fellas.
every time I hear that word redbone too, it reminds me of that song. Stay woke, yeah, sleeping. Like, yeah, I just can't. Yeah, shout out to Charles Gambino, by the way.
That's a fact. Blessings, we got Miss April Showers in the building. But I don't mean to laugh. I hear so
Salute to
many
you,
dudes
April
say
Shower.
red
Salute.
bone. Oh, she's cute. This red bone this. But listen, all I'm gonna say is that surface level thinking. All right, that's vibes, not history. That's this generation, our generation, and we're not here, for vibes only. We can have some vibes, yes, always. But what I'm saying when it comes to speaking on this, we gonna keep it on topic, on truth. All right, we're here for understanding. So when we say red bone, we gotta ask: are we talking about a look, a lineage, a tribe, or a mix of all three? And I don't know. Maybe to some it could be a mix of all three, right? To others, it could just be, our lingo, the way, that certain people slang, like in Texas, like the answer. All right. The term redbone has been used in the black community for a long time to refer to light skinned black people. And that's the version most folks know. But historically, all right, redbone is Indian and black. All right. It may have the white mixed in as well. That's not just a cute nickname. That's a whole identity rooted in mixed ancestry, right? Survival, how can I say, survival and how people were classified. Think back, go far back into history. So when we throw that word around casually, we're playing with something that used to carry weight, something that meant more than just, she fine and light. It meant, it meant where you came from, who your people were, and how society saw you. You see where I'm coming from? Now, I hear people in Texas say red bones a lot, and that could be because for some reason, I don't know why, Louisiana, all right, is tied into Texas. Now, that's a history that I'm learning about now, so I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. But if y'all know about the Louisiana history, about the red bone history, I'm more than willing to, listen and learn. All right.
I myself know a little bit about that, y'all. Being originally from the boot,
I'm,
by the way.
why do they mix up, why do they say if red bones is more of a Louisiana term? Why do you hear it so much in Texas and other places in the South?
Because I think it's more. It's not necessarily just a country thing like Texas and Louisiana. It's more of a southern thing because it existed way before the the word became popularized. It was on a whole nother wave. It actually was another word for him.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They called him something else. It wasn't red bone at the first time.
Oh,
It was something else. But it wasn't taken so loosely because it became popularized and modernized in like the main '90s when all the booty music was out. You know what I'm saying? I know you remember when Luke and them came out and Two Live Crew and all
that's
of
why
that.
I said that's what we know it of. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
I
my
think
bad. I was piggybacking off of you. Go ahead. I didn't mean to
oh
cut
no, you
you off.
got it. No, you got it. You got it. I was done. You go right ahead.
Because you was right. You was. I was like, damn. You said remember. I was like, yep, yep, yep. That's why I kept saying like only like the '90s and the 2000s. If y'all heard me say it earlier, like before this, I don't know what they was called, but Mouthpiece was on point. My bad. My bad. I didn't mean to cut him off. He is such a gentleman. I gotta give it to him, yo. He liked us on his panel too. Is the funny part. All right, we could listen. I've seen Mouthpiece get cursed out. He raised his little voice a little bit. It's not yelling. He's like, "Yo,
Mm,
you talking to a man? Like, hold, let me check you real quick." But he don't
let's go.
disrespect. I think that's so cute, yo. I ain't gonna say you're not cute in a. I'm a girl. All right, fuck it. I think that's cute. All right, in a man. Not a lot of men got that mannerism, and it just shows me that he was brought up right. Real shit. But listen, we don't just got the red bones, but you got the high yellow, which is usually, biracial, right? White and black, often, a second generation past biracial. It, I'm not sure if you can miss Hispanic into there, but I've heard a lot of, black men call Hispanic women red bones, yellow bones. And I used to like, wait, what? I'm not yellow or red. If anything, my skin caramel. I used to get confused as shit. But yes, it's a lingo that's been used since the '90s, like Mouthpiece had
Yeah,
said, and that's like just
no
bringing
doubt.
back memories, like real shit from the music going up. And who was it? I don't know who was it. Was it Lloyd Banks? Welcome to the South Side. I think was one of the first ones, if anything I've ever heard. Was it him? I'm not sure. But anyways, right? These labels didn't just pop up for fun. They were created in a world obsessed with shade, race, and proximity, all right, to whiteness. People were being measured, categorized, and judged based on how, all right, based on how close or far. I'm gonna say not far, fair, all right, their skin, just their skin, no, their skin tone, all right, their skin tone was from what society considered, how can I say, acceptable. And we still see the leftovers of that today in how people talk about light skin versus dark skin. Who got praised, who gets, clowned, and who gets overcooked. How much do you think colorism still affects us today, even if we pretend it doesn't? And that's a question for everybody. All right. And if you're catching the replay, man, listen, leave your comments down below and let's get the discussion started. All right. I'm going to give y'all a few minutes before I even play a video or I say anything. All right. Let me say the question again. How much do you think colorism still affects us today, even if we pretend it doesn't exist? Because a lot of us love to pretend like colorism doesn't, still exist when it does. All right. Darn, this one. Shout out to Miss April Showers. All right. So I see nobody's gonna type in the chat. I don't even know how many people in the chat. This shit not showing. There's only like 2 or 3 people in the chat. Anyways. Now here's the wild part. These things might not matter the same way today, but 100 years ago, your skin color could determine, your right to vote, your right to hold property, your right to be seen as a human in the eyes of the law. That's not just preference, that's power, that's survival, that's access. So when we talk about red bones, high yellow, mixed ancestry, we're not just talking, all right, aesthetics. We're talking about how people navigated a system built to divide them. Just like Mouthpiece said now, just like Mouthpiece says in each and every one of his lives when he talks about this topic, all right? And if we ignore that, we miss the whole point. Do you think we forgot how deep this really goes because we only see the modern version of it? Let me press play. I don't know if Mouthpiece got something to say before I press play, but I want y'all to, let that question sink in your heads because I do ask provocative, provocative questions, right, on this panel, on this channel for a reason, right? I ask these questions because I want them to sink in and I want y'all to think about what I just asked. Because trust and believe, I asked myself the same thing and started researching. Do you think that we forgot? Well, I'm not gonna say we. Do you think a lot of people forgot how deep this really goes because we only see the modern version of it, right? So, so if you're from Louisiana, right, or a part of the original Redbone tribe, and I mean the Redbone tribe, which we're about to hit on, touch on right now, let us shorty know if what we're hearing today is cap or true. Because I'm not here to pretend I come, from that. How can I say? I come from a tribe myself, right? I don't come from that tribe, but I come from a Taino tribe. I'm not a Redbone, right? I may not be a Redbone by lineage, but I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. I'm here to, how can I say, respect the people who do come from that line and can speak on it from experience. I love learning history, not just about mine, because once you start connecting the dots, you realize all of our stories overlap somewhere, right? If you are connected to that Redbone lineage, what's the one thing you wish people understood better? So let's dive down this rabbit hole and see what we learned today. Maybe some of what we've heard is true. Maybe some of it is cat. Maybe some of it, is half truth mixed in with rumor and ego. But that's not why we're here. All right. We're here to separate the noise from the knowledge. All right. We're not just repeating, how can I say, definitions. We're asking where they came from, who created them, and who benefits from them. And if we laugh a little, cry a little, and get uncomfortable along the way, good. That means we're actually feeling it, not just hearing it. All right. And sometimes we need to feel it, not just hear it. We need to get a better understanding why we got, why we in 2026 and we got, people hanging from trees. Why we in 2026, all right, and cops are still beating our black men in the streets.
as well as I can find out. But this is an isolated, multi-generationally mixed. Neither white nor black as well as I can find out. But this is an isolated, multi-generationally mixed group of people. And they were able to be defined. Dear Sir, in reply to your letter of April 22nd, I will say I am unable to tell you how the name Redbone originated for the people. I suppose you know the kind of people called Redbones. They are neither white nor black, as well as I can find, and what percentage of white, Negro, and Indian blood flows through their veins, primarily in the areas of Louisiana, Texas. So you might say, hey, wait a second, that sounds a lot like being Melungeon or Creole. And you would be right.
Shit.
And that's why the surnames I'm going to give you, you're going to see those in all three of those communities.
Damn, so they do like Mouthpiece just said. They range from Texas to Louisiana. That's crazy.
Hi, I'm Danielle Romero. Thank you so much for being with me here on my channel where we talk about American identity and family stories. And I've been looking into my own family stories for the past 4 years on this channel. I started researching Creole history because my mom's grandmother was from Louisiana and had Creole ancestry, but that kind of led me down the path of researching and finding my Melungeon and Redbone roots. When I went to Louisiana for the first time a couple of years ago, I went to meet family. One of the cousins, when I first met him, pulled me aside and he said, you could tell I was family because he said to me, you're a Redbone. I was like, I like the band. I know the band. I was like, I don't know what you're saying to me though.
Wait, they have a band? What the fuck? What happened?
What if there was a song?
Oh my god, you gonna give me a damn, I don't even know what time, when we stop, but shit, you got me fucked up. I hate ads. I'm sorry.
But honestly, he couldn't have been more right. So we're going to talk about the Redbones today. Who were the One of the things I've seen in comments when I've mentioned red bone in other videos. Neither white nor black.
I'm sorry. Oh, my feet, yeah, my feet still in this, John. All right, so here we go.
Honestly, he couldn't have been more right. So we're going to talk about the red bones today. Who were the red bones? Where did red bones come from? How do you know if you things that I've seen in comments when I've mentioned red bone in other videos, or people talking about this cultural understanding about what red bone has meant in the Black community? Now, that's not what I'm talking about today, but it's definitely connected to what we're talking about in general. So red bone is something that you can be labeled as. Also, they would say stuff like high yellow, things like that. These are ways that folks in the Black community have talked about lighter skinned members. Red bone is a specific ethnic group, triracial isolate group from Louisiana and parts of Texas. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that other definition, but it kind of does. And so we're going to get to that.
Damn, man! Shout out to Miss 504, man. I gotta give Miss 504 a shout out because I think she's a real red bone from Louisiana, man. And I don't know, if Miss 504 catches this video, man. I would love to get your input, on the red bone tribe, the Creole tradition.
There's an ambiguity about who is a red bone, and it's been ambiguous for a long time. There was a letter written in 1893 by a man named Albert Rigmaiden. This is a wild letter, and it talks about the red bone community, about the people who were considered red bone and their last names. And so we have a primary source telling us all about this history. This guy, Furman's trying to understand this group, and Albert Rigmaiden is there in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So he's telling him everything he knows. When Furman's like, I need to know who these people are. What can you tell me? And we have this document. And it's incredible. And he was actually the treasurer. He was writing back to a man named McDonald Furman. And this was a man who was conducting private ethnological research. And so they're exchanging letters back and forth about the red bones. And what's interesting about that letter, before I read it to you, which I'm going to, is that he's writing to him from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And Lake Charles, Louisiana was actually one of my mom's DNA communities on Ancestry DNA. And I was really surprised to see that, but also not. So it really was helping create context while I was researching. I want to just jump into the letter and we're going to chat about it together. So here's what he wrote. Dear sir, in reply to your letter of April 22nd, I will say I am unable to tell you how the name Redbone originated for the people called Redbones. I think the Negroes were the first to give that name, as they, the Negroes, have no use or love for them, and they don't like the Negroes any better.
Oh, wow.
I suppose you know the kind of people called Redbones. They are neither white nor black, as well as I can find out. The oldest ones came from South Carolina many years ago. There are a great many of them in this parish and in Rapides Parish and Vernon Parish and some other parishes in the state of Louisiana.
All right, so wait. So some of them came from South Carolina too. So they got red bones in South Carolina? So you got the red bones in South Carolina, Texas, and Louisiana.
And a good many in Texas too. Some of these people are as good as citizens as anybody, and some are rascally and treacherous, but you will find that among any people. This treasurer for the parish is writing back and saying, listen, okay, you're doing research on the red bones. Okay, here are the families we know them to be. I'm going to tell you about the list of surnames in a little bit. We'll come back to that. And I want to find out if your family names are on there, mine were. So back to the letter. He said, these people keep pretty well together and they marry amongst themselves mostly, but occasionally a white man or a white woman marries among them. But if they do, he says, it's generally a low class of white people. That's what he's saying. It's a very unpleasant situation to live about these people. And for this reason, they are not looked on as being Negroes, Indians, nor white people. And as this is white people's country, the white people don't put themselves on equality socially with any other people except white people. Although some of these people are perfect gentlemen and ladies and well-educated. So he's still talking about the red bones here. I think they get along exceedingly well and peaceably considering all of these drawbacks. As near to the facts as I am, trusting it will give you the desired information, yours truly, A. Rigmaiden. This letter is incredible.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
What?
Now, do these people have a bias? For sure. Filtering his information through. Of course. But we're
Basically, they were trying to say that they didn't fit in because they were a mixed breed. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how she meant the letter is incredible. I mean, does it expose a little bit of, their true, colors? I mean, shit, they were racist, point blank, period. What the fuck? What was the whole point of the letter? They looked like they was chopping it up on Twitter. Ain't no, listen, man, yo, the only difference is they used ink and paper back in the days. That right there looked like a back and forth from fucking Twitter. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, you see what I'm saying? Just different eras. Shit ain't changed. You see motherfuckers do the same thing here on Twitter. Y'all ever been on Twitter? I've been on Twitter since I was what? Maybe 15, 14 years old. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Now that I'm older, I see the racism in that John. All right, it's there. You see motherfuckers, and they not scared to go back and forth with this shit, talking about the brown and the black community. As a kid, I ain't pay that shit no mind, because as a kid, I was on Twitter just to listen to my favorite, celebrity. But as I got older, I started paying attention to the tweets. Like younger, I didn't tweet. No, I just wanted to be on that John. I wanted to know when my celebrity was going to be in the city. That's it. But now, yo, I'm paying attention. Shit ain't shit. Y'all seen the shit Elon Musk be posting on Twitter? Yo, that man, Elon Musk and other celebrities be shout out on that bitch. This shit right here ain't no different. It was just a personal letter. That's it. Back and forth. No computers back in the days. All right, that's it. They just ain't have no computers and phones like we do now. Smart devices, as we call them. Welcome to the Jetsons.
We're getting so much information about, one, how the red bone community was perceived from contemporaries on the outside, and two, just straight up information about them. I have other videos on the red bones. How did they see themselves? How did they identify? I've actually interviewed some descendants from these communities, and I can link to that at the end. Now, I want to read another letter to you. This is from 1897. So anybody who tells you that the red bones were not a historic community, send them this video. This letter, was over 100 years ago. And this group is...
Wait, people saying that red bones are not a part of the historic community? Wait, I've been reading about red bones since I was a little kid. It's just that, there's different stories. It's like, which one is the truth? Everyone has a different story about the red bones. And I'm talking about the tribe, not the women. I'm talking about the tribe. All right? I'm not a little kid no more. I'm not confused. You see where I'm coming from? Sometimes from time to time, I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? Like calling me a red bone. At one point, I used to, listen. When I first started hearing people call me a red bone or a yellow bone, at one point I'm sitting here, I was like, I don't belong to that tribe. That's how naive I was, how ignorant to the facts I was. No, I don't belong to the red bone tribe, but I belong to a tribe. All right? That ain't no different from the red bone tribe. All right? They mixed, but they mixed mutts too.
is being discussed as a separate group. And so this was the editor of a paper, and it's about the Goins family, which for me, it's exciting because I'm a direct descendant. My third grandmother was a Goins. And so this is what it says, quote, among that isolated and mixed breed of people of Privateer Township who are classified as colored, but they should properly be known as red bones, is found the name Goins. The founder of this family, so I've been told, was a, quote, yellow man whose wife was a mixed breed Indian. And he goes on to talk about one of the Goins family members, and he says, quote, his features are copper-colored skin, and they show the presence of Indian blood in his veins. Now, another descendant of the Goins couple is Tom Gibbs, a pastor of a little church in the southeastern Privateer, which is attended by redbone people. And so they have their own community. They have their own church. They're being classified. He's saying you shouldn't call them colored, but people are saying they're not white. They're saying they're not Negro, they're not Indian, they're just their own group. Now, is this a race of people? No, obviously it's not a race of people, but this is an isolated
Dude, there's only one race, the human race. Now, we got different ethnicities, different cultures, all right? Different roots. But there's only one race. All right? Humans. Unless you're talking about aliens. But you know what? Let's get back on. It's just, when they say a race of people, like, do you think there's aliens amongst us?
Is this a race of people? No, obviously it's not a race of people, but this is an isolated, multi-generationally mixed group of people who are just kind of sticking together. And he goes on to say, quote, I might remark that this boy is a member of the Colored Watery Baptist Association. And he says, quote, I think Gibbs shows his Indian blood, while it would greatly puzzle the ethnologist to determine what percentage of white, Negro, and Indian blood flows through their veins.
What?
The name is or was found among that peculiar people, the Croatan of North Carolina, which unique race is believed by historical investigators to be descendants of Sir Walter Raleigh's famous Lost Colony. Okay, this is a lot. But again, this is another primary source for us, showing that the Red Bones are, one, considered their own group, and two, kind of getting us a little peek at how people were seeing them and discussing them. So let's go back in time a little bit more.
All right. I get what she's doing, but I gotta do something real quick because I'm a little confused, and I don't know if we got anybody from Louisiana in this jump. But hold up. Did the Redbone tribe originate in Louisiana or South Carolina? Did the Redbone tribe originate in South Carolina or Louisiana?
The Redbones are an ethnic group rather than a recognized Native American tribe. Their foundational families migrated from South Carolina and parts of Virginia and North Carolina in the early 1800s before forming their distinct community in southwestern Louisiana.
But I gotta I'm a little confused. I don't know. Okay. So the Redbones originated from South Carolina and migrated to Louisiana. All right, that's a better description right there. Because I was like, damn, where did they originate from? Like, she kept saying Louisiana and South Carolina, and I'm listening, but I kept getting thrown the fuck off. Don't judge a shorty, all right? It's a lot in my, a lot in my head. My brain is in a maze, all right? And I'm still
Man,
trying
for
to
real,
smoke
you
the
cooking
haze.
though. On the real, you cooking though. I'm deep into it though. I'm with you though. Let's go.
All right, let's continue. I just had to get a better understanding on that. So no man's land. All right, before I play this, all right, fellas, since y'all love calling us ladies yellow bones and red bones, shit, I'm gonna start calling y'all fellas yellow bones and red bones too. Shit, when I see Leon and Will, every time I see Leon and Will on this YouTube app, I'm a hey yellow bone man, how you doing today? Yeah. Fuck all that. Just us women, man. Back in the day, they had yellow bone men. You heard her say it. They had yellow bone men. All right. So it's not just let's make this a neutral thing now. All right. It was a little kind of like I felt like we was just all getting harassed. Beautiful red bone, beautiful yellow bone. No man. Now we're gonna start calling y'all yellow bone men and red bone men. Every time I see Leon and Will, watch.
We're going to come back to the surnames, I promise you. But we're going to go back to the early 19th century. This is no man's land. This was a place that defied the rule of nations. It was also known as the neutral ground or the neutral strip. So imagine this vast territory. It's in between Louisiana and Texas. This is a land of swamps, of virgin forests. And this land became so hotly disputed between the United States and Spain after the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. So
Damn.
The United States was saying that we owned all the way to the Rio Grande after the Louisiana Purchase. But Spain is saying, no. Like, pump the brakes on that. You only get to the Red River. And so what happens is they take this section that's being disputed because neither side will budge. And it leads to the creation of no man's land, the neutral strip. And this land was actually outside the jurisdiction of either nation. This is where the Redbones lived. It wasn't Spanish. It wasn't American. And I think that really encapsulates this idea of the Redbone experience. They don't belong in this group, and they don't belong in this group, and this land doesn't belong to this nation, and they're allowed to just be their own thing. And so I actually found my family in this land, going through this land, through the record. It was just really fascinating to see the Redbone people navigating a world that was often unkind to those who didn't fit in these societal norms or these black-white boxes. And the neutral strip reflected this in a geographical way that I just I found really poetic and beautiful. But the neutral strip was more than just a refuge for the Redbone people. It actually became a place of smugglers and pirates and illicit activities because remember, no nation was taking ownership or authority over this area. It was dangerous sometimes. It was kind of a free-for-all. There was an area that was so notorious that actually President John Quincy Adams himself once referred to this area as the back door of the United States. And so among the most infamous characters to emerge from this period was John Murrell, who was a land pirate, and at the time his name was super synonymous with lawlessness of the neutral zone. He had a band of outlaws there. Now, a lot of these people were considered Redbone, but not everybody who was Redbone was a pirate. But the neutral zone was also just another place for people to do as they pleased without any consequences. So it was a corridor for smuggling enslaved people, particularly after the importation of slaves was made illegal and prohibited in 1808. And then a legendary pirate who a lot of Louisiana people know, Jean Lafitte, used the waterways of these rivers, and he did smuggle enslaved people, contraband goods into the U.S. And so that just kind of added to the reputation of this place for being, it's not a part of what's going on in the rest of the country. But what about the Redbones? So I want to get back to the surnames with you. Trying to figure out who are the Redbones. Can you tell me who these people are? And I think the majority consensus is that this group is considered just a group of mixed race individuals, and primarily in the areas of Louisiana, Texas, and South Carolina. Their background is mostly a blend of Native American, European, and African. And so you might say, hey, wait a second, that sounds a lot like being Melungeon or Creole. And you would be right. And that's why the surnames I'm going to give you, you're going to see those in all three of those communities. I'm going to give you the surnames, and then we're going to jump back to the physical traits. So here are some, and I'm going to give you more. Ashworth. I did a whole video on the Ashworths, and that I can link to. Goins. This is in my tree. Perkins. Drake, another name in my family tree. Hooser. Sweat. Buxton. Doyle. Dial. Johnson. Cash. Exclavant. I'm going to give you some more, but we're going to jump back down to the...
That's crazy. So, if you're from Louisiana, Texas, or South Carolina, and you have these names, the surnames, basically, the surnames will become what? Like when they put you in slavery and they changed your name, right? I think it does, yeah. So I wonder if they got this, if the list for the Tainos look the same way like this, the same way as the Cherokees and all the others. Blackfoots. Little by little, I'm going to start remembering the tribes. Man, listen, my mind being amazed. I be trying to tell y'all. But this right here is wow. So if you have these last names, all right, your family is really originally from the Redbone tribe. But what if it's a pure white person and they have this last name? They still a Redbone? Do pure white people still exist? I mean, pure Europeans? I mean, I don't even know what the fuck they consider white at all. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. What do they consider? What is really, white? I mean, I know about the white supremacists, but even them, they got different roots and ethnicities in there. They got some Irish, some Italians, some Europeans. Like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, it's time to smoke. Let's continue.
Drake, another name in my family tree. Hooser, Sweat, Buxton, Doyle, Dial, Johnson, Cash, Exclavant. I'm going to give you some more, but we're going to jump back down to the physical traits before we come back to the rest of the names. So their physical traits obviously varied widely, and we've talked about this for folks, again, who are Creole, Melungeon, anybody who's multi-generationally mixed. But often, not always, but often you would have tan or darker skin that had a copper hue, high cheekbones, straight to wavy dark hair. But why would these people be a separate community? It's like, when you see people that are mixed, it doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, we're our own separate group now. Why would they be considered their own group as opposed to being like Melungeon or Creole? And I think we've talked about this a lot, but this is at a time where things are extremely dichotomous. It's like, are you black or are you white? And as you can see from the letters, the Redbones were considered either. And They weren't considered fully Indian or fully Negro or fully whatever crazy terms they're using to break people up into groups. And so the formation of this group has to be considered in light of the historical and geographical reality of what they're living in. We have to situate ancestor stories in history. We can't really.
All right, all right. We're saying this. Let me ask a question. Okay, now that we know better, like Maya Angelou says, right? Why can't we do better? We know the truth. We know the reality. So why ain't a lot of us just doing the research? All right, because it's like I'm getting tired. Like, you see where I'm coming from? Like,
No doubt.
you can't be a part of this tribe because of your skin color, because of the tone of your skin. Ain't no different now. It's like, listen, you know how many times I've been told, oh, you can't be a part of this conversation because you Puerto Rican, you're not black. Look at your skin
Yeah,
color. I look at
yeah,
people
that's that's like low key Willie Lynch on the real though, low key. You think about it.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if it's
My bad.
me.
I had to. No, you good. Can you hear me?
Repeat it again because your mic went in and out and I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, I was just saying.
Now I can
I
hear
ain't
you.
gonna lie. I was just saying. I can't lie. I ain't gonna even lie. That's low key like Willie Lynch if you think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Real shit. It's just wild though. It's like, all right, we're in 2026. People say that they're not racist, but you is. The crazy part about it is you're racist against your own kind, and people cannot take the accountability when they're told that shit. And then people get mad at me when I say I don't see skin color. Why? Because sometimes when I look at somebody that's white, and they say, "Oh, I'm just pure white," you do know there's some melanin in you, whether you like it or not. Or when I look at a Puerto Rican or a Dominican, say, "Oh, they not black," or they don't like black people, or they'll sit here and disparage somebody that is of that color of tone. I'm sitting here like, is you fucking serious? You come from black people. You come from African descent. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not black. What? They will argue you the fuck down,
Oh man.
trying to prove the point, and they wrong. They fucking wrong. I'm sitting here like, you know how much melanin you got? You know how many times I got into an argument with a Puerto Rican or a Dominican lady? She's like, "Oh, I can't stand that black motherfucker," but you fucking a black motherfucker. Oh, he not black. What the fuck is his color then? Like, am I fucking colorblind? Am I seeing something else? Like, you fucking a black motherfucker. Oh, he's
Man.
Dominican. Oh, he's Puerto Rican. No, bitch, he black. All right, he's a black fucking
Black
Puerto
man.
Rican or a black Dominican. Point blank. Period. All right. Simple as that. Don't bash a black man in the United States, all right? Because you can't stand the fact that your man is black too. Don't get mad at people because they're telling you the truth to your face. Are you colorblind? I don't mean to get like this, but some people just like the definition of stupidity is like it's what they is.
Facts.
Like I'm sitting here trying to figure this shit out. They look at me, oh, you white. I'm sitting here like, God damn. Now, I can show you white. I know some people that are white. I got some color in this bitch, all right? I get melanin in my skin. And I can get as dark as mouthpiece if I stay in the sun. I can show y'all pictures. That's why I'm like, wait a
Let's
minute.
go. Let's go. Let's go.
I was like, no, the melanin is in there. It's just that.
Shout out to all my morenitos out
Go
there,
ahead.
man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Real shit. That's why I was like, man, y'all think men are tripping when they tell y'all that, yes, a lot of mommies or a lot of Puerto Rican women are into black men. But at the end of the day, it's in us, it's in our culture, regardless of anything. All right. A white woman cannot reproduce, all right, a black baby or a brown baby with another white man. But a Puerto Rican woman can get with a white man and reproduce a dark skinned baby looking like Mouthpiece. No, I'm using Mouthpiece as an example. We got a dark, handsome, chocolate mocha man up here on the panel. All right.
Let's go, y'all. Shout out to
And
the Coco
y'all,
Collective out there.
listen, man.
Big salute, y'all. Coco
Like,
Collective
come
gang.
on,
Let's
man.
go.
Let's be real about it. It's in our DNA, whether you like it or not. All right, we come from African blood.
And then you want to hear something too,
That's where
Robert?
we
Check
all
this
come
out.
from.
Check this out though. My lineage, I had ended up finding out my lineage too, or my tribal Indian lineage through my dad, and from my dad through my grandma, because I was very fortunate. Long live my grandma Edna, you know what I'm saying? Big mama, long live Big mama. I was able to meet her before she passed. When I spoke with her, she told me, she said, we Choctaw. You know what I'm saying? We the Choctaw tribe. You know what I'm saying? Even my dad confirmed that. He
Oh,
reconfirmed it.
because she told you,
So
told
exactly. Excuse me. And then after I got done talking to her, I stepped away from her and she gave me one of them special hugs. Y'all know the special hug I'm talking about with the money folded up in the hand. You know what I'm saying? Gave me a special hug with the money folded up in the hand.
you.
Turned around when
Oh,
we got the car, looked at my hand. She gave me $200. You know what I'm saying? Long live grandma, man, for that wonderful wisdom and the knowledge at
oh,
the time I spent with her. And at the same time, it taught me a lot more about how all our Indian tribes connected. And then mom's on her side, it was Blackfoot Indian. So you already know. And I'm just let y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, proceed,
yeah.
Queen. Go right ahead. The lineage
They
is
had
real.
to
It's very
connect
real.
mouthpiece. When you really look at it, they was fighting for survival. Yesterday, when I touched
Exactly.
on the Taino tribes, right, and they was talking about how they found the Taino woman. Guess where they found her in the in the cave in the Bahamas. I'm saying, how the hell she end up in the Bahamas? Like, wait a minute, what happened? She was the one of the first Taino women,
Mm,
right? And then from there, they found out the the true DNA of a lot of Puerto Ricans. And I was even telling them yesterday. I said here, I was like, you do know that not every Puerto Rican, all right, is of African descent. And people get confused when I say that. All right, we got Amazonians, and I'm not saying they're not of African descent, but we also got a real large European side in Puerto Rico that is just pure European. What I mean, Spanish. And people don't know that. So it's like I see why the island, praises Ponce de Leon. Like yesterday, I had to correct a few times. Like, look, listen, I get where everybody's coming from, but we gotta correct certain shit. If not, it'll keep going down in history. Christopher Columbus did not discover Puerto Rico. All right,
no, the
neither did
hell he
Ponce
did
de
not.
Leon.
That's right. Even
Facts,
that guy.
but
And Napoleon Bonaparte, fool ass too.
he
You gotta add him
was.
into the mix too.
Here's the thing: they keep saying Christopher Columbus like it was him, like if it wasn't
Right.
Ponce de Leon that took over the fucking land. It
Oh
was
yeah,
Ponce de
facts.
Leon, not Christopher Columbus.
There we go.
You see, like that's why I'm saying here. They like, oh, they talking about the second voyage. Even with the second voyage, Ponce de Leon already took over. That's why they got the big statue of Ponce de Leon in PR. That's what I'm saying here. I was like,
See,
Christopher Columbus is. It's not everything's not about Christopher Columbus. I don't know why they put him like. Neither one of these two mofo's discovered the island. It was already fucking discovered. It was already owned. Like the people here in the United States. All right, Christopher Columbus did not come here and discover shit. He came and took over something that was already owned. And for those of you that don't even fucking know it, Christopher Columbus was fucking, how can I say, considered a traitor in his own fucking country in Spain. All right, when you go back into history and you look at the shit that happened and shit like that, look about why all this happened. He was turned out to make a hero because he had shit over the motherfuckers over there in their head. All
no
right,
doubt.
blackmail.
That's right.
Look
Do
at
y'all
the
research.
history.
Make sure y'all check out that book. They came before Columbus. You know what I'm talking about?
And it's deep. It's real deep. How they had him. The shit that happened with him over there. I mean, it happened with a lot when you look at it. William Penn and all of them. Look at the history. How they discovered America and all that. But did they really discover America? None of them discovered anything.
Yeah,
Fuck
they
out
just
of here.
branded
It was
it. They
already
made
on.
it. They just capitalized it. That's all.
There you go. They had firepower and the Indians had bow and arrows. That was the difference.
Facts. Oh, don't forget about the biochemical warfare. Neither. Don't forget about them blankets now.
Mm.
Remember all them blankets on Thanksgiving, y'all. Don't
The
forget them good old
viruses.
pilgrims. Yep. Using biochemical
Yeah, the
warfare.
viruses. Why they made the people think growing up, why they it made me think that my ancestors were extinct, that they didn't exist until I grew up and I started doing my research and I see there's full tribes over there claiming that they're pure Tainos, that they're not extinct. You see where I'm sitting here like, oh shit, and they won't mix and mingle because they want to keep their heritage alive. I'm sitting here like, damn. And guess what? They're not the only tribes out here doing that. That's what's got me doing research more and more because I'm sitting here like, wait, something's not adding up. You know what it is? The erasure, the lies. That's what's not adding up because in our heads we grew up thinking one thing, when in reality it was another thing. All right, like when it comes to where did when did it pause? When did we stop learning about my history? It stopped with my mom. At one point in time, my mom was telling us a little bit, and she stopped. You see, like I don't know if I'm making any sense to y'all. See, I know the answer
No,
to
you're
my
making
own
a lot of
question.
sense. You making a lot of sense. You good.
But do y'all know the answers to this question that I'm asking? When did it stop for your family? When did the knowledge stop passing on down from generation to generation? I just told y'all when it stopped with mine. My mom, her sisters, her brothers, they all did the same thing. They got distracted, caught up, partying, having fun, doing this, living life. Yeah, it's okay to do that, but never forget to pass down the history that you was told to pass on down. So
Hell yeah.
with her stopping and not giving us the knowledge, right? Just leaving it halfway, gave room for the schools to feed my brain what they fed and left me ignorant to the facts. All right. Did they, feed me all lies? No, they didn't. But I knew that my tribe wasn't no white man with a fucking cowboy hat talking about giddy up, yeehaw. Those were not real Indians. Okay? Real shit. And then they was not all fucking caramel like me or my brothers or my sisters. They was black. You got black Indians for people to be like, oh, black people can't be Indians. Then what the fuck were y'all?
Yeah, that's a that was the major cover up too on that back in the day. That's how they made us try to be, that's how they brainwashed us a little bit too with that because they never fully expressed who all these guys were. You know what I'm saying? They only told us about like one tribe, like two or three tribes maybe in the English books back in the day coming up in school. They told us about the Sioux Indians, the Seminoles and shit. But what about, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, y'all know these folks was black, man. Y'all could have just told us that from the get-go because y'all made it seem like it was a distinction. You see what I'm saying? But that's the whole
Yeah,
deal of colonization. You know, distance and distract you from your heritage, extract you from your heritage as far as possible.
that's a fact. And I always question, like, okay, you see how Mouthpiece said it, and Mouthpiece doesn't get tired of saying it. He's not the only one. You got we got SBK, the word. All right, look, listen, racism is just dressed up, all right? Because growing up, I always wondered, all right, did it exist in my community? Not as much as it existed in other communities, all right. Hunting Park was diverse, all right. We had a mixture of Puerto Ricans, black, whites, Mexicans, different ethnicities, all right. So growing up, I did wonder why, a lot of Spanish people, right, and white people came at the black people, but I didn't pay it no mind. Once again, peep what I'm saying. All right, lock that in. As a kid, I didn't see color. All right, because we all as kids we played different ethnicities, different colors, different races. We played with each other with no problems, no hate in our hearts. All right, we didn't worry about this little boy was black or this little girl was brown. This little boy was white. We wasn't worried about that. But the adults, thinking back in time, I remember how the Puerto Rican, the Spanish adults would say, I'm not going to say Spanish because we're not Spanish. All right. The Hispanic adults would sit
There you
here
go. I
and,
was just gonna say that too.
yes,
Hispanic elders.
yeah. And I was always asked, así es que, they would tell me, así es que hablamos, this is how we talk. Esa cucaracha, ese moreno feo, I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? Why y'all calling them cockroaches and ugly black men and women and this and that? Or monkeys and gorillas? I used to always be confused until I got older. All right. But as a kid, I didn't understand it and I didn't pay it no mind. So you would hear me say, no, I didn't grow up in a world where racism exists. Yes, I did. I just didn't notice it because the kids were too busy being kids. Didn't matter the fucking color. All right. Didn't matter the race. So when I grew up, yes, I was confused because I was still in my little kid head. Right. And like I tell people, as a kid, that's what I used as a shield. All right. I was still in the cartoons as I'm 37. I'm about to be 37. And I'm not gonna lie to people. Am I a horror fanatic? Yes, I love watching horror movies. But I'm a Disney baby. I'm a Nickelodeon baby. Grew up on those type of shows and movies. And to this day, I still watch Disney movies and Nickelodeon movies, especially with my kids. So I mean, to me, it was more like, all right, that was my protective shield. Like how can I say my escape was escaping and watching cartoons and doing kid things. I didn't want to worry about the adult world because the adult world to me was too big and too like confusing, if that makes sense to a lot of people. So yeah, I'm always say I grew up in a world like I don't understand what racism was, right? And people will have to break it down a lot of times because like I didn't experience it, but I was in it. And someone asked, how the fuck did you, not experience it, but be in it? Because as a kid, I didn't pay it no attention because I didn't understand what was going on around me. All right. The same thing that, I'm going to put it like this: as a kid, as a survivor, all right, I didn't understand what was being done to me until I got older. I didn't understand the hate within me when it came to, pedophiles. Now y'all understand. But I'm a different person now. I'm a grown ass woman with more knowledge, more wisdom, and experience. All right. I'm able to talk on these topics and not just ask questions. All right. I can answer my own questions, but I would love to hear other people's perspectives. And the crazy part about it is I answer my own questions as I'm talking to y'all. That's why when I just ask the question, I throw it out there and see, who's going to sit here and, give their opinion and their perspective. The shit never changed. All right. Shit just got disguised.
Big facts. I got to
Really
add on to that.
understand their decisions or their act.
But
A lot of them cats dating became, pretty much in the government stances. They became some of our law officers, some of our judges, some of our other, you know what I'm saying? So, the sheets did come off, but however, they went into politician work, you know what I'm saying? And that's why we so skeptical when it comes to this thing in Mississippi. That's why a lot of people they can say what they want to say about Ben Crump. But Ben Crump know Mississippi more than we all know. Ben Crump has seen sides of Mississippi that we all don't know about. He been and seen it firsthand. So that's why they hate the man so much. And that's why they causing so much trouble giving that woman flack about that phone, because they know that phone finna tell us everything. And I just want to elaborate on that too. But go ahead, Queen. Proceed. You cooking right here. You got hey, if you ain't figured that out, y'all ain't
we're in
came to
the
the
air.
conclusion or even had those trails of thoughts to initiate what y'all want to implement or also comment on this discussion, feel free, y'all, to say it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all smashing that like up too for the queen, y'all. Let's go.
I mean, that's true because that what you just said goes back to the oh my god, D4VD case with the Celeste and the young upcoming uprising artist, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
And it's crazy because I feel as though this is a little off topic, all right? Because as I mean, I feel as though
Quick sidebar, y'all. Quick
I
sidebar.
can get into that later when it comes to the racism
Yeah.
because it's in there. Like the racism is in there. I see why they hitting it so hard. The young boy's black, all right. But then look at what he's doing. It's like I can't even protect you. I can't even defend you. I like look what you did. As crazy as it sounds, right? Because we here, we're protecting, defending our communities, and trying to fight for our black men, keep them out of jails. A lot of us trying to start programs and shit like that. But peep what Mom said about that phone, right? Now, look at the D4VD case, right? Well, all the evidence they got with this young man out here, knowing that he did that to that little young, to that baby. I'm gonna say a baby. I don't give
Yeah,
a
they
fuck
let him.
how much he
They
try
let
to
him
be
stay free
grown.
for a year, damn
All
near
right?
almost. Yeah, facts.
Yeah. But now they're talking about you see the defense trying to blame her, all this and that, trying to get him off. I'm saying here, why would you even do that? I get it. I get it. It's a lawyer. When you look at the justice system, right? They play ping pong with the brown and black community, whether y'all like it or not. Because let have been a white person, I'm sorry to say it, it's gonna walk out. I hate to say it like this. I hate to turn it like this, but it's the facts. Y'all don't
It's the
hear me
truth,
say this often,
and it's
but
not.
when I
And it's
have
not.
to, I'm gonna say it.
Yep. And it's not racist to
Go
call
ahead, my
out
bad.
racist acts. That's not racist. Oh no, you got it. I was gonna say a lot of y'all they be hating because if you know be big mouthpiece, I be talking about it on the channel too as well. How I do the black hatred. You know what I'm saying? Like I just talked about snow bunny fever. It's not racist to call out racist acts. You can't get mad and call us racist when we see something that's going on that's clearly racist and we speak on it, and then y'all want to say, "Oh, you racist?" Nah, you trying to do some race baiting. You trying to do some rage baiting, and also you being dismissive. See what I'm saying? Because for you to look at the problem, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the reaction and not look at the problem. You throwing it off. You making people look at the wrong way when they're supposed to be looking at the actual problem of the matter, which is this woman losing her son all of a sudden. Y'all had his phone. Y'all erased this stuff off this man's phone. We clearly know this. And took his keys. There's no way you could have this man keys and phone and not uh understand that people feel some type of way about that. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. And it's happening with a lot of people. Listen, with all this technology they got, you're telling me they can't solve a crime? Bullshit. They talk about the money. Oh, we running out of money, motherfucker, with all the trees. Stop burning the trees and you can have more money to print. All
Come
right.
on.
I'm sorry to be a bitch and say it like that, but I'm not
No,
fucking
no, you
ignorant to the facts. I see through the fucking smoke.
come on.
I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, it's my third eye speaking." No, this is not my third eye speaking. It's the ancestors whispering in my ear, saying it's time
No
for us to
doubt.
come together. All right,
Showing us the truth.
because
Yeah.
I
They're
don't know if
showing us
y'all
the truth.
noticed it
Yeah.
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday in one of the videos that I played, it was the hidden secrets of Pennsylvania. Tell me why there are cities underneath us burning, fires that should have been already put out or put out on their own, but yet burning. Why don't y'all go put these fires out instead of building on top of them? We still got forests burning. They're supposed to be controlled fires until they, get out of control. Right or wrong? This is why y'all always hear me. This is the shit they do themselves. I don't care if it's black or white. In this situation right here, this is where all of us knowing, what our ancestors sacrificed should, how can I say, having the knowledge that we have should come together. But not even that puts us together. That's the crazy part. That's why y'all always hear me say, even when the war is over and the debris is done, all right, with how divided we are, some people are still not even gonna be able to see the fucking through the smoke. Why? Because even that third eye is still covered, as they so call it. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's the facts, yo. How many more of our, black sons do we gotta bury in the fucking ground? How many more of our brown sons do we gotta bury in the fucking ground? All right. As a fucking Puerto Rican woman, as a Taino woman, all right, I'm sitting as a descendant of the Tainos, I'm sitting here saying we need to come together. All right. I'm a proud woman of an Afro Latina little girl. All right. She's gonna be 10. I'm a proud mother of 2 Latino boys. All right. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, our boys ain't going through it. They're going through it, especially our black boys. I fear for my daughter being as beautiful as she is, 9 years old. All right. And as crazy as it sounds, I don't know how many of your parents, and I'm not ashamed of saying it, our kids are growing up and having more bodies than we had when we were younger. My daughter looks more developed than what I did at the age of fucking 9. My son, all right, at the age of 11 was already growing a fucking mustache, looking like he was 12, 13 years old. At 16, he's looking like he's 20. I have to sit here and be like, yo, watch out for them older women. Every time he come in, he's like, yo, mom, that older lady, he all hype telling me about how the older lady, yo, let a fucking older lady try me. And I say it just like that. And I speak to my kids. But I fear for my daughter because that beauty of hers, all right, comes from the ancestors, not from the mixture that my parents and my grandparents and the other ones before them did. No, me and her dad got together. A Puerto Rican Taino woman got together with a Moorish man, all black. He's all black, no mixture, pure blood, and created that beautiful Latina girl. Where every time I go outside, I see these older men looking at my daughter. Little girls disappear every day, not just in Philadelphia, but all over the fucking world. Little black girls go missing, and they're worth money on the dark net. But that's not it, right? That's not just it. People don't want to talk about it or touch on the topic. All right, our black boys go missing 10 times more than our little girls. All right, because of their melanin. Oh, I've gotten that deep, and I'm not ashamed, and I'm not scared to say. If I lose my channel because somebody want to feel some type of way, then I'll start another one because it's worth saying it. I put it out there in the airwaves real quick. All right.
Let's
Too
cook.
many of our black
Let's cook.
boys are going missing, and they're
Hey,
not talking
no,
about it.
let her
They're
cook. Let her
dying.
cook,
Oh,
y'all.
Nolan Wells. Did y'all forget about what happened with oh my God, let me not forget her name because I talk about her so fucking much. Um, the girl that went missing, the hotel a few years back. Fuck. Tanika Jenkins.
Kanika Jenkins, yeah, I was just
Now,
saying.
Yes. I've said this multiple times. All right. I don't know. Something wrong with her mom. I don't know if she sold her daughter. I know parents do that. All right. I've talked about gang stalking. I had to find a way to, do that live. The first time it got struck, but once I found out how to do the disclaimer and talk about it, y'all only know about one type of gang stalking. All right. It goes deeper with the gang stalking. All right. It goes as deep that we're talking about higher up. I gotta watch what I talk now when I'm saying what I'm saying and what I'm saying and how I say it. All right. We're talking about those higher up. They would sit here and hire gang members. There was hire people, from the army, navy, shit like that. All right. Somebody that has money, kidney failure, somebody got shut up, life need to be saving. You don't think they look at these records and find out who's their, blood type, who could save them? Guess who they're gonna go for? A healthy melanin body for that what organ? I'm sorry to say it like that. I'm trying to listen. I
Oh
might
yeah,
sound
yeah. The black
stupid or
market is real. No,
a
no, you
little
don't
bit,
sound stupid. You sound absolutely correct. The black market is real,
but
Queen. You absolutely correct.
I'm trying to say, yeah, I'm trying to say the best way I can without saying everything. Because if I say everything, then my channel will get clapped. If you're smart and you listen and read in between the lines, y'all hear me trying to, boom, boom. It sound a little like why she stuttering like that because I cannot say what's straight out my noggin. I can't. All right, but it goes deep. I want y'all to look up gang stalking and not the regular gang stalking. All right, that we've learned about when we grow up. Listen to what I just said before. All right, now it goes deep. All right, like Mouthpiece just said, it's that black market bullshit. Yes, it
Yeah, that's that black
exists.
market.
And
Human trafficking is
when
real.
they
It's very real, y'all.
and I did my research. When
Yeah,
they need them organs, guess who they'll go for? A young, healthy melanin boy before they'll
that's
go for a
exactly.
white, healthy
Because
boy. I don't know why,
keep in mind too, Nolan Wells'
but
organs is still missing too. By the way, y'all act like y'all don't remember
wait,
that.
what?
Remember they said that parts of his stomachs were still gone. Yeah, they only have like they
Oh
say it was.
yeah,
Yep, yep. See, so y'all got to think about that. That's something to
that's
consider.
because
But
you're the
yeah,
only one that touched on it. Listen, but
uh,
listen, Pete. A lot of content creators ain't touching on that. They're touching on the story, but I only heard that in your podcast. Out of the ones that I've heard touch on that case,
no doubt, no doubt.
that's why you just heard me say, "Oh, yeah."
You see what I'm saying? Man, big
Nobody's
salute
really
to y'all.
touching on that. I didn't know
No.
that. Really, you just rattled my noggin and reminded me when you talked about it that day. Yeah,
For
I'm not
real.
lying.
Yeah. Yeah, dog.
Damn. So this is
See what
why
I'm
I'm
saying?
bringing that up. So it's
It
like
all
whether you
correlates.
look at it, it's like what is it that they're looking for? Like, okay, I get it, but it's deeper. It's something deeper. Have I touched it? Have I, come, to the conclusion of what it is? No, because I'm still learning and I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's something with our young, black, healthy melanin boys. The darker they are, the the more you see missing. I'm not saying they don't all go missing from dark to brown. All right. I'm just saying that the darker the little boy is or the little girl, the faster they go missing. Why? I'm still trying to figure it out. Something about the organ, something about the melanin. I've heard a few people try to break it down, channels get clapped. So I'm going to say it the way I'm saying it and leave it at that. Now, I want y'all to go do your own research. All right. It's something about our ancestral, all right, DNA. I don't know if it's this on some Dracula shit, man. We drink that if we find the right pure DNA, you know, they'll survive. Listen, all this shit
Man,
has to do
low
with
key.
rituals and more.
Yeah,
Listen,
low key it is though. You scratching the surface. Low key that is the vampiric vampiric actions and
yeah,
ritualistic
because
things that's been going on. Same thing with the July 4th, sacrifice of the brother Nolan Wells. That's also play a part in it, man. But yeah, Queen, I just want to definitely say peace and blessings, and I'm gonna definitely be hopping down. But however, I'm going in the chat. I'm gonna get ready to go to the job. You know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? The brother got to tap in. But hey, this was a great, excellent show. By the way, I got to give you your flowers too, Queen. Wonderful show, wonderful dialogue.
same
Man,
to you,
keep doing
same
your
to you.
thing. Keep doing your thing. Salute.
Same to you. Shout out to my everything up over here. But I love the fact that he's bringing awareness to what's happening within the communities. All right, he's keeping a lot of people, those that may have missed the news, may have missed the trends, the viral videos of what's happening. And I'm here just bring awareness and let y'all know we got Uncle L in the building. Blessings, blessings. Shout out to Uncle L. Welcome to Philly, baby. We're here just to bring awareness, how can I say rattle some noggins, right? And speak the truth for real, for real. We can get as deep as we can. Let's get as deep as we can. But, there's certain things that I can't say. I'm not really allowed to say. So y'all going to hear me, stutter a little bit. But it's something. It's something. And it goes back to our ancestors, right? Like, y'all think that science, right? Science is nothing more than just a new form of witchcraft, right? Witchcraft, done with words back in the days. I mean, voodoo, all that shit. Science is just, and I don't even think that it's a new form. Right? It's just, we're gonna leave that for another, another live on that one. We'll talk about the science and the difference. There ain't really no difference, all right, for real, between witchcraft and science. Nah, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, like I was saying, right? I want y'all to do y'all history, all right? Go as deep as y'all can when it comes to the gang stalking. Go further back. Think about the Kanika Jenkins story about the little boy that got found in the mat. About all the people that, have gone missing and actually make it viral, right? On these viral trends, and you get content creators, podcasters, YouTubers, to actually, touch on these topics, right? It's crazy it's got to the point, right? If y'all been watching the Senate meetings and stuff like that, right? A few times in the Senate meetings, they have mentioned how they'll, watch certain content creators, right, that are touching on these cases to actually help them solve the same case that they're trying to solve. All right. Now, some of you might, Shorty, you tripping, you crazy, you don't know. I just want y'all to go out there and do y'all research, all right? It's deeper than what the hell we think. How much of our history, all right, do we really know? How much have we researched? How much of ourselves do we, really know? Of our family, let me put it like this, our lineage, all right? Everything that's happening today leads back to this, all right? Nothing changed. Different faces, different disguises.
Actions unless we understand the things that were pressing on them from all sides. And so a lot of people will agree that the Red Bone group emerged from the complexities of racial mixing in early American history. This is like foundational American history right here. Okay.
It's the same thing with the Tainos, all right? Tainos emerged because what happened with the slavery. You got the mingling and mixing with the how can I say, the West Africans, the Moors, all right, and whatever tribe was here in the United States. Okay, like as crazy as it sounds, yes, Puerto Ricans are mixed mutts. All right, it seems like the Red Bones are mixed mutts, but why are they saying that Red Bones got more European than melanin? Hmm.
And what about the name? So the name itself is kind of a riddle. What did red bone mean? There are many explanations for what people think red bone means. I have read a ton. I'll tell you just a couple of what I've read. I'm sure you probably know some more, so let me know. Some people believe it was just because folks had kind of a reddish hue to their skin. Others propose it was just a derogatory term. I've read stuff where it had to do with the area having red clay. And there was another one, I think it was a Caribbean term, and it looks like it's spelled red Ebo, but I think it's pronounced red bone. And that has to do with just folks who are mixed. That's basically what it means. I'd love to hear what you know or have heard about that for sure. And I think if we're looking at a Venn diagram and we're comparing Melungeon and Creole and Redbone, you're going to see, yes, these are distinct communities, but there's a lot of overlap, a lot of the same surnames, a lot of family connections. If you have Redbone lineage or you think you do, one of the major things to look at is the location where your family lived. So you do look at surnames. Maybe you have taken a DNA test and you see like very mixed. But another thing is to look for where did your family live? So El Camino Real, the King's Highway, essentially, was going through these posts. We had Natchitoches, Louisiana. That's where my family was. And then on the east, and it was connected all the way to Nacogdoches, Texas. On the other end, my family also lived there. That's the west side of this road. And so people are traveling across this road that were connected by El Camino Real. Actually, I was on El Camino Real for a little bit when I went to Louisiana. I didn't have a full understanding of what it meant. Now I do. This group, the Redbones, were going back and forth between these two places. And you see this strong sense of communities on either side of this long road. So there's definitely more to talk about. This is just kind of putting back out there and getting this conversation going. And I think if we're considering the Melungeon or people in Appalachia or the mountains of Tennessee, things like that, you would see a lot of connection and overlap between the surnames, between the families moving. I'm really excited to see what this means for you guys who are doing your family research. And two, I'm excited because these are people in my family tree. And it's so obvious to me that my mom's side has ties to all three of these communities. So one, let me know if you've heard about red bones, maybe in your family tree, maybe you're Creole, you're Melungeon, or you're just realizing, okay, there's a lot of overlap here and you don't really know like where your family story fits. Or maybe you had no idea this term existed. But I'm sure that if your family's from one of these areas long enough ago, you're probably connected. So I'd love to have you come along for the ride while we're digging back in. And these people kind of stay together. They intermarried and it was a pretty tight-knit group. And I'm really just enjoying seeing that connection where, yeah, essentially these people are like, well, we don't really fit anywhere. Just like no man's land didn't fit in anywhere, but they fit in together. And that's not how I feel about you being on this channel. They were able to find this safe haven and define themselves freely in a place that didn't require you to be defined. And it wasn't always the safest place to be, but in some ways it was. And so I think that's kind of a beautiful thing. So let me know what you think.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, here's the part that gets me. Listen. People act like history is supposed to be comfortable, like it's supposed to make you feel warm, and fuzzy inside. No, baby. History is supposed to make you think, all right? It's supposed to make you question. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable enough to grow. And when we talk these topics, we're not doing it to start drama. We're doing it to start awareness because once you know better, you do better. And once you see, the truth, you can't unsee it. Do y'all think that, people avoid certain truths because they're scared of what it means, for their identity? I'm not sure. I'm not sure why a lot of people, avoid a lot of truth. All right, but we're going to do a part 3 to this, right? I want to get into this real quick. All right, I want to touch a little bit into the Tainos. We're going to jump back to English, motherfucker. I did upload the English on the Spanish one. Damn. Hold on 1 second, because I think I didn't want the Spanish.
Se han encontrado restos.
Oh, hell no. We got the Spanish version. I didn't upload the right one. Give me 1 second. I'll find the other video. What are the top 10 Puerto Rican last names? Yeah, we know Rodriguez and Santiago is one of them. Yeah. Real shit. Listen, Puerto Ricans is everybody in the world, all right, mixed in just a little island. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. Hold on 1 second, all right? Because we just touched on the red bones. Now we're gonna go dive back into the Tainos real quick, all right? And on the next live that we do, we're gonna touch a few more. We might dive down the history of a city, a state, along with the ancestors in it. All right. Give me 1 second. We're about to dive into the Tainos real quick. Share it, fool. All right, we're gonna listen to like 10 minutes of this video. All right, and then I'm gonna give my commentary. I don't think nobody else is gonna hit the link on this, John. All right, so I'm gonna give my commentary. We're gonna end this live. All right, because I've already did 2 hours of it, and we're gonna do a part 3 probably later on tonight or tomorrow. Just remember, man, I'm gonna celebrate my birthday. I'm out Wednesday. Blessings, young Riaz. How you doing?
good though.
or or Puerto Rican someone.
Damn.
Have
Oh,
you ever
sorry,
or
the
Puerto
video.
Ricans are Spaniard or maybe Puerto Ricans.
What happened, Riaz?
No, I was saying, you know, like when the video was playing, right? It kind of like glitched out for a minute, then it went back. It was like in and out cutting, you know?
Oh yeah,
The
StreamYard
video
acting
was
stupid.
in it.
That's why.
Wait, what was acting stupid?
Hold on. Let me
Oh, you're talking about the StreamYard acting
go back
stupid.
so we don't hear you.
Oh, sorry,
What
no,
you were
so
saying?
that to be honest, I said though, like, you know, when you were playing the video, I was listening, right? And then basically now, right, earlier, while you're playing it, right, it cut in and out. And then also sometimes when you speak, right, your audio went in and out. Like basically it cut in and then
Oh
it
yeah,
cut
that's
out. But,
StreamYard. I can't do nothing about it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I
But that's
can't do
very
nothing about that. That's
interesting, though. That's
StreamYard.
very interesting, though. I actually did
I try to
watch
fix it, but I
you.
can't. So I'm doing the best
Oh,
I
okay.
can.
Okay, I understand. Other than that, though, I just watched what you and Mouthpiece were talking about, you know. I was in the chat and everything, and I was listening and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we
listening
about to dive back
too.
into the Taino history real quick because this one, for those of you, what you say?
No, like, that's interesting, though. I did listen to what you and Mouthpiece was talking about.
Oh yeah, we diving down these rabbit holes. But I'm about to touch
Yeah,
into this one. We're gonna hit up like 10 minutes of this video real quick because I've already been 2 hours on this John. Like I was saying before, we came up. I'm gonna do 10 minutes of this video and then I'm gonna end the John, and then I'm gonna do the part 3 on it probably tonight or tomorrow.
okay, that's fine. No problem. I get you on that aspect, though. So, yeah, I get you. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to touch into this one. It says, where do Puerto Ricans come from? The real story of our DNA, ancestors, and migration. Now, I want everybody to remember, I've been saying it throughout this whole life, all right? Not every Puerto Rican is a Taino. Puerto Rico is very, very diverse, all right? It's
Ooh,
mixed,
okay.
all
I
right? Like I
understand
tell
what
people,
you mean.
yeah,
Sorry.
like I tell,
I understand what you mean, though. Sorry, I was just about to say quickly, too. I can understand to a degree what you're saying, though, you know, because, you know, like when you're talking about it, like, you know, there are people that who don't know who they really are and stuff. I didn't realize who I was until I was like 23, 24 years old, and I was searching for that. And me being Pakistani, right? You know, actually, not, and not every Pakistani is from Persian ancestry. It's like multi-ethnic people, and they come from different ancestries and stuff, right? For me, that's like before Persians came over to take over pieces of the land, they migrated 5,000 years, you know? So there was already mixing and breeding there anyway. So, anyways, though, relating to this, though, yeah, I kind of get you on that aspect, you know? They're like multi ethnic, though, right?
yeah. It's a little bit
So,
of
like,
every ethnicity in a Puerto Rican. A little bit of every ethnicity.
yeah. So yeah, I kind of understand what you mean. That's why I said it's like multi-ethnic people, though, basically. So some actually have that, you know, what you're talking about, and some don't. So like they have almost everything else, but they have other things
Hmm.
mixed in, and their ancestry, you know, before that's like totally something different, though. So I kind of get you on that aspect on what you're saying, though, because I can actually technically apply that to me, though, and you know, my ethnic background and where they come from and everything, you know?
That applies to everybody, but people don't want to
Yep,
hear it for real, for real.
yep.
So that's
That's
that's why
why
we that's why we
I
doing
get
these
you.
lives. We
Yep, I agree with you. And plus, also, though, as well, right? For me and my entire family, though, no one in my family ever said they were Indian. You know, they said that they were Pakistani, or like basically they were Muslim first, but then also the like Persian ancestry type thing, though, too, you know? Because literally, though, I can tell you why, you know? I'll tell you this, though. Hold on one sec. Anyways, though, what I was trying to say is, I'll tell you this. You know, actually, the Pakistani national anthem is written in Persian, though, right? The first to recognize Pakistani people is the Persians, though. So it means first recognized, written in Persian, and also their culture is influenced by that, too. So you can tell, you know, it tells you something who they really are, you know? Do you know, like, the reason why some people mistake Pakistani for Arabic Middle Eastern Arabs though too though, because you know in the 1970s, 80s, right? There's this one ruler, this one leader or something like that. He tried to implement that. He tried to uh, Arabianize the place, trying to move around it. So in a way, you know, some yeah are from Arabic ancestry. Mine isn't though. So yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna touch into this video, all right,
Okay.
and it's called "Where Do Puerto Ricans Come From." So we're gonna listen to 10 minutes of this, all right, because like I just said, it's already been 2 hours into this joint, and I gotta get some shit done today. So listen, we gonna get on. We'll be back tonight, probably tomorrow in the morning before I do anything because I know I leave. Damn, what's today? Today's Monday, right?
Let
Yeah, I
me
leave
check.
Wednesday.
Actually,
So
it is Monday. Actually, today is Monday. I
yeah, it is
went
Monday.
out. So yeah,
So I
let's
leave
see what the
Wednesday.
video has to say.
I leave.
Sorry.
I leave. I leave Wednesday. So hey, let's get this little, rapid dive out the way real quick and, bring some awareness. So let's see what the guy gotta say. I gotta, interrupt maybe once or twice because I'm gonna, we're gonna play 10 minutes of the video. So let's listen.
Okay.
Have you ever heard someone say, Puerto Ricans are Tainos, or Puerto Ricans are Spaniard, or maybe Puerto Ricans are African? The truth is far more fascinating because Puerto Ricans are not descended from just one people. We're the product of centuries of migration, of explorers, farmers, soldiers, slaves, refugees, merchants, and families who crossed oceans looking for a better life. So some of our ancestors arrived over 500 years ago. Others came barely 200 years ago. Some came voluntarily, others never had a choice. And many Puerto Rican families, including my own and my wife's, can still trace exactly where those ancestors came from. So, where do Puerto Ricans really come from? Today, we're going to answer that question. And get your glass ready because we're having a really good whiskey. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles and Cocktails. I'm Josue, the spirited historian. If this is your first time here, every Sunday we travel through history, culture, genealogy, food, and the stories that made Puerto Rico and the world what they are today. Before we begin, thank you to every single one of you who keeps watching, subscribing, commenting, and supporting this channel. We're now getting incredibly close to something very special. Episode 100. I honestly can't believe an entire year of Chronicles and Cocktails. Should episode 100 be a huge be even a conference somewhere in Puerto Rico or Q&A, maybe even a conference somewhere in Puerto Rico or in the States? Leave your ideas in the comments. I genuinely love to hear them. And if you're not subscribed yet, this would be a great time to do it. It really helps the channel. Now, get comfortable because this one's going to be a really good one. Before there was Puerto Rico, there was Boriquén. Long before Cristobal Colón, the island was inhabited by the Taino people. They belonged to the larger Arawakan cultural world and had migrated into the Caribbean generations before European contact. By the time Cristobal Colon arrived in November of 1493, the Taino had established villages throughout the island. They farmed, fished, traded, and governed themselves under local caciques. For them, this wasn't a new world, it was simply home. On his second voyage, Cristobal Colon reached the island, renaming Boriquén San Juan Bautista. That voyage changed Puerto Rico forever, not because millions of Spaniards suddenly arrived. They didn't, in fact. Very few people living in Puerto Rico today descend directly from those first ships. That surprises many people. But history and genealogy are not always the same thing. Permanent Spanish colonization began in 1508 when Juan Ponce de Leon established Caparra. The island needed labor. Gold had been discovered. Farms needed workers. Construction had begun. The Spanish crown established settlements. But very quickly, the island faced its first great tragedy. The Taino population collapsed. 2 deceased, forced labor, starvation, war. Within only a few decades, the indigenous population had declined dramatically. By 1520, the Spanish crown officially emancipated the remaining Taino population. But by then, their numbers had already been devastated. Here's something many people don't realize. Puerto Rico wasn't heavily populated. Far from it. Historians estimate the island contained only somewhere between roughly 3,000 and 7,000 residents. That includes Europeans, Tainos, and Africans, an incredibly small population, and that helps explain something fascinating. Why today almost everyone in Puerto Rico is related to everyone else if you go back far enough. That's not politics.
That's what I've been saying throughout this whole life, as crazy
Mhm.
as it sounds. But see, people don't want to, pick up a history book and do their research.
That's not identity.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was gonna
That's
say, or yeah, I
population
agree with.
genetics. It's
Sorry, I was gonna say I agree with you, and also I was saying though as well the festive visit, the festive visit and discover was the Moors. The Moors were the first ones to
Oh, the
visit.
Moorish history is not hitting.
Not like that though. Not many people know, but I'm not saying it's hidden like that. It's
Oh,
known, but it's not like. Hmm?
yeah, the Moorish history is in there. See, the Tainos were rescued, saved by the West Africans and the Moorish, but people don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So the Moorish history is in there.
the dramatic decline of the Taino population created an enormous labor shortage. Spain looked elsewhere. The answer was Africa. The Portuguese slave trade. Enslaved Africans began arriving in Puerto Rico during the early years of colonization. Unlike the Europeans who came seeking opportunity, these men, at first, and eventually women and children, they had no choice. They were forced across the Atlantic, separated from their families, sold into slavery, and made to work in Puerto Rico's growing economy. Something else that surprises many people: Puerto Rico actually received fewer enslaved Africans during the first centuries than islands like Cuba or Saint Domingue, today's Haiti. Why?
Mm.
Because Puerto Rico was still a relatively poor province. Spain focused much of its wealth elsewhere. Puerto Rico simply did not yet have the enormous sugar economy that developed in other Caribbean territories. Even so, African communities became firmly established around San Juan and other eastern coastal settlements like Loíza, Fajardo, Humacao, creating lasting Afro-Creole communities whose influence can still be seen throughout Puerto Rico today.
Yep. And that's what, they cultivated when they were, when they were enslaved in Puerto Rico. It was sugar, not cotton, sugar.
As the centuries progressed, more Africans arrived, especially during the 19th century when the sugar economy expanded dramatically. Slavery would not finally be abolished in Puerto Rico until 1873. Today, African ancestry remains one of the three principal genetic components found throughout Puerto Rico. But it is only one chapter of a much bigger story. This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions people have. Many
And it's crazy, right? Because I like how he put that in the little description. Let me see. Does it pop up? Yep. Not every Puerto Rican descends from the first Spaniards either. Not every Puerto Rican has Spaniard in their DNA. Like European, no, no, no. They have more of that African DNA. I don't know if he's going to speak on it, but let's see.
This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions people have. Many assume that if you're Puerto Rican, your Spanish ancestry must go all the way back to the first conquistadors. Actually, for most people, that's simply not true. Yes, some Puerto Rican families can trace themselves all the way back to the 16th century, but those families are relatively uncommon. Most Puerto Ricans descend from immigration waves that came much later, hundreds of years later, and that's exactly what we're about to see. Although people from the Canary Islands have been arriving since the time of Cristobal Colon, the first major organized migration happened much later, beginning in the late 17th century and especially throughout the 18th century. The Spanish crown actively encouraged Canarian families to settle in Puerto Rico. Why? The answer was simple. Spain wanted strength in its Caribbean possessions. Puerto Rico had too few inhabitants. It needed loyal settlers, farmers, families, people who would cultivate the island, establish towns, and help defend the island. This organized migration became known as the Tributo de Sangre, or the Blood Tribute. And we've talked about this before on our episode about the Canary Islands. So, under these policies, Canarian families crossed the Atlantic and permanently settled Puerto Rico. Unlike many of the first Spaniards, these immigrants weren't conquistadores. They were farmers. They cleared the land, raised livestock, cultivated crops, built communities. Many of the towns that define northern and western Puerto Rico owe much of their early development to these Canarian settlers. Their influence survives everywhere. La agricultura, las tradiciones, y la cultura rural. Even the way many Puerto Ricans speak Spanish still reflects Canadian influence.
Yep.
This migration became one of the largest and most important in Puerto Rican history. For countless Puerto Rican families, their Spanish ancestry doesn't begin in 1508. It begins with these Canarian immigrants who arrived generations later. Understanding this changes the entire conversation. Puerto Rican genealogy isn't the story of one arrival, it's the story of continuous arrivals. Every generation, the island kept changing.
Yep.
And the next great migration would change Puerto Rico once again.
throughout history, see, throughout history, it's like all it kept doing was evolving, right?
Hmm.
It- but people not seeing that part. We're meant to evolve, but not the
Yeah,
way they're telling us to. Right? Not through science or none of that. Like, listen, our tribes evolved throughout generations by mixing, mingling, trading, culture, right? Agriculture. I mean, I could just go down the list, but we're in a generation, that depends on how can I say smartphones and fucking music. I mean, music. Yeah, we need music sometimes. But
music.
then sometimes we got
I
some
agree with
beautiful
you,
fucking music.
but
Other
music
than that,
though has always been around though generationally. That's
that's what I
what I
just
mean by.
said.
No, I
That's what I
disagree
just
with you.
said. But you just cut me off. That's why I was like, wait a minute. Like,
I don't
music's
know.
always
I
been
just
there,
mean
but
the
it's like the
context you
music
was
that
going
we
with.
have. See, what I mean by that is the music that we have now is nothing compared to the music we had back then. The music that is being put out now is trash. It has nothing to do with culture, nothing at all. So, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, or it might sound to some people, I meant what I said. You see where I'm
Wait,
coming from? That's why I was like, music's
I
always
agree
been
with you.
around. I'm just not the music that's out now. The music that we're listening to it ain't the storytelling. It ain't shit's changed. Shit's fucked up. Point blank. Period.
Yeah, I kind of
Right?
agree with you though.
It's
To
as fucked
I
up
agree
as
with
the
you.
politics has gotten fucked up. Is as fucked up as what people consider what family is. And it's because we don't know the definition of certain things. What's coming out our fucking mouths. Word have power at the end of the day. That's why I said shit is different. All right, it went from having witchcraft and voodoo to science, and people not peeping that part. But words still have power, whether people like
Mm,
it or not.
yeah, I kind of agree with you as well, though. I mean, in the music aspect too, I kind
No,
of
it's not for
agree
you to
with you.
agree. Because,
No, 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 I agree, but I'm actually seeing where you're
it's for you
coming
to
from
agree.
too, though, that aspect, evolved type thing, and then also the historically, like also the when it comes to politically part two, though, for them as well, they had to face not just the external threat, but the internal threat, fighting among themselves while fighting among outside is also the main reason for the decline. So, like I also mentioned that here, though, right? The one I belong to, right? They used to be really powerful,
Mhm.
strong, independent, were fighting every outsider possible, but then they also had conflict within the tribe and clan too, So then they had to fight and everything, and then basically, though, slowly over time, they had to face, by 18th, 19th century, right? They had to face the Sikhs, Afghanis, and the Brits all at once while facing each other, and also the decline of the Mughal Empire as well, right? But what I belong to, they were so loyal to them. Even when the empire was declining, they were so loyal to him, literally. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah,
declined in the 18th, 19th
that
century due
that's
to external and internal, and the last independent
that's in every
political control was lost to the Brits. However, the tribes still exist today, but they remain prominent in the area, but now they have to answer to the government now.
that's in every tribe. Yeah, that's in every tribe. We had talked about that earlier when I first started when I was talking to Mouthpiece. We had talked about that earlier, but then when colonization came, everything changed. You're not wrong. That's why I said earlier, man. The op situation has always been around. The war has always been around. All right, music has been around, but as humans, right, and the music along with us, because we create the music, it's supposed to evolve, and they're both on pause. So, I mean, as crazy as it might sound, right? If y'all really pay attention to what I'm saying, y'all will understand. I mean, I'm saying it. I'm being bold as I can be on YouTube, saying what I gotta say. I just gotta,
Mhm.
cut certain angles because my channel can get clapped at the end of the day. So I gotta be careful with what I say and how I say it. So I might confuse some of y'all, but those that really are listening and are reading in between the lines will understand exactly why I'm saying it and why I'm saying it, how I'm saying it. But yeah, music. Listen, Music's been a part of our history. It's just that it hasn't evolved the way it should. Point blank. Period. So with that
Mm,
being, Riaz is making a point, and what Riaz is saying, right, is nothing different than what I'm saying. All right, we all have our tribes. Some of us know about it, some of us don't. Some of us are learning about it. All right, but at the end of the day, it's been there. All right, throughout history, and the only ones that could actually change it by learning the history and not dwelling on it is us.
right.
Things won't
You know,
unless we
so
make it work. So
yeah, I was just gonna tell you, none of the real reason why I know now is because I wanted to seek it. I asked God, who am I really? Because then, growing up, though, I told you both sides would never accept me like that. And then also, that I wasn't really happy with what I was being labeled to. Like literally, though, like, that type thing. And I will never be truly satisfied. So basically, I had to keep searching, 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 because, the one who seeks himself is the one who wants to get closer to God. So I want to get closer to God. So I asked God myself, literally, who am I really? And he gave me the answers and everything. So I searched, and then I found it. The only ancestry part of me that I can only, confirm for now, and I just know is the Persian part of me. But I know there's more and more I don't know actually, because I'm multi-ethnic though, and I could be mixed with more and more and more stuff. But only the Persian part is known. So yeah, that's just all I know though. Basically, it's just similar to what you're saying though too. I just define it in a different way because that's just how it is though. That's how I was saying. So with me though, right? I belong to warriors. Then those, my family was farmers within the warrior tribe, and then also though they had scholars too. So I'm, from warrior, farmer, and scholar, but I belong to the scholar blood. My grandfather had a scholar mind. I have a scholar mind. So that's why I think like a scholar, basically.
yeah, that's a fact. But see, the thing is that you wanted it. Some people don't, and that's how you know. Some people just don't care. They don't. They're not going to care until they want it. Right? Like we're
I
not going to
told
get the
my
answers we seek
family,
unless we want to search for them.
right,
And that's how it is with
the
everybody. Unless you
interesting
want
thing.
it, you're not going to get it.
Right, I agree. You know what it is though? I told my family, and if you tell my mom, I told my like, dad, brother, sister, and all of that. They're like, okay, that's interesting, but they're just like, it's not that they don't care or they're not ashamed of anything. They're alright with it, but at the same time, they're just happy with what they're content with what they have already. I just want to seek further because that's just how my brain works, though. Because I like to go deeper into things like you too. But also, my problem is that once I go too deep into something, it's hard for me to get out.
Yeah, that's what we got to learn is how to get out. Can't
Yeah,
dwell.
I'm trying to
We
learn
got to
that
learn
though.
from it. But yeah, we're gonna stop it right here, guys. We're gonna pick this up either tonight or tomorrow. All right. I gotta get some stuff done. I already got the first call, so I have to stop this live right here. It's gonna be an open panel, but the links are gonna be in the community wall when I do come back live. All right. Just remember that if y'all gonna hit the panel, come and chop it up with me and talk about history and stuff like Riaz is doing. I'm glad Riaz is opening up. Listen, we're talking about all of it. All right. Like we said earlier, somehow, some way, our ancestors, right, history intertwined with one another. Right?
Yeah,
Believe it or not. Like, does it mean that we was committing incest? No. What I'm saying is that if you pay close attention, all right, we have I mean, everybody has a little bit of something in them. All right, you could be, 90% of one tribe and still have probably 2% of every other tribe in it to complete that 100% of something. All right,
yeah,
it's
that's
all like
true.
that. We all mixed in. But then
Yep, I
again,
agree.
there are
I actually
still
wonder though.
there.
Sorry.
Hold on, Rios. Then again, there are also pure blooded tribes out there. So the question is, right, where are they and who are they?
Yeah. That's true though. You know, with my tribe, they are pure blooded, but you know, with my family, it's like a blend of both between UK and UK and Pakistan together. Like basically, you know, members of my family, you know, staying here, and I belong to the UK side. My dad does too, but also my dad's sister married a Bengali, so basically, though the Bengali side of my cousins, you know, family is also added in with my family. It's just that they're not that close like that. I mean, like close, but not too close like that. You know what I mean? No, so Bengali element is added too. So with me, I'm not really like pure blood like that. I'm like the only pure part of me is pure Pakistani, but then everything else is like pure a mix of everything, you know. And I'm half Indian, but also half, you know, Persian though. And you know, that some people they confuse Indian and Pakistani together. Maybe because I share a similar phenotype to them, but at the same time, I don't though. You know, because I'm cultured. It's not just religion though. It's more like cultural aspect, the way spoken, the lingo, and everything, and the ancestry too. Whatever history Indian people had before me, that's their history. My history is 13th century history though, and before me, you know, before the ones created like me, it was all Persia though, actually, you know. So like Persian Empire stretched from like, you know, Europe, no, from West Asia, Europe, North Africa, and the Indian subcontinent. Continent. And that's how large it was, you know. So you know, there's like a lot of mixing and everything. And the Persians, though I descend from, is the Muslim Persians, but they were Sunni Muslim Persians, not to confuse with the Shiites. You know why the Shiites though is the majority now? Because actually, I think it was like I think it was like somewhere around 17th century or something like that. I can't remember, 16th, 17th century or something like that. They were forced to, you know, some, you know, a lot of them were like forced to become that, you know, they were forced to become Shiites. But I'm not gonna go too much into that though, you know. So if everyone else wants to know, they can actually look that
Yeah,
up and
you
maybe.
when
I
you
just only know the simple basic
and when you
aspect
hit the
though is like
panel today, bro.
16th, 17th century though. All I know is like, you know, there were a lot of Persians were forced to become Shiites though. Before that was mostly, you know, Sunni majority, Shia, you know, minority. But then eventually, you know, I don't know, whatever ruler or something like that though, he made, you know, people though, you know, force them to do that.
That's a
Very
fact.
good.
Yeah, but listen, Riaz, I'm about to end this, John. All right. When I come back later on or tomorrow, you can hit the panel again. I'm gonna have the link in the wall, so that way you can come up and chop it up with me and whoever comes up on the panel.
Okay, cool. I'll say my final thoughts and then basically I'll drop. I guess my final thoughts is though for real though is Devin us please leave a like, comment, share, connect to the host, me, everybody who's a creator. To shout out to Murphy for sharing everything. Shout out to those for sharing everything. Shout out to myself too for sharing everything. I know basically though like what I'm saying is something different though, but technically it relates to the topic though in a way I just reference it differently, you know, based on what I know though. But same time though, actually hope everyone actually enjoys it, shares it out, and that's it though. I'm done.
Shout out to my young boy, young Riaz. Make sure y'all go check out his little channel. He got his music on and popping. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm about to end this live. All right, but listen. All right, before I end this, John, I want to, how can I say, slide back into this, Red Bull conversation because, baby, people get emotional about these, this one. Folks swear they know, what a red bone is, but half the time they're just repeating something their cousin's friend's aunt said, all right, at a cookout in 1998. And I'm like, where did you get that definition from? A cereal box? The term been twisted, stretched, flipped, and misused so much that people don't even know the original meaning anymore. And when you start breaking it down, folks get quiet, real quiet, because identity is personal. And when you challenge, when how can I say, when you challenge what someone thinks, all right, what someone thinks they are, they get defensive. Let me stop the stream real quick. And let me be real. I'm outspoken because I care. I'm passionate because I pay attention. I'm open minded because I refuse to let society hand me a watered down version of reality. I'm not here to disrespect nobody, but how can I say, but I'm also not here to, how can I say, to baby grown adults who get offended by facts. If something sounds off, I'm calling it out. If something feels like propaganda, I'm dragging it into the light. And if something is straight foolishness, baby, I'm clowning it. All right, with love, but I'm clowning it. And let's talk about the people who argue the loudest. Who the ones who swear they know everything but never crack open a book. I never watch a documentary, never research the damn thing. They just loud, loud and wrong, loud and confident, loud and misformed. And that's why I appreciate y'all. Because my audience actually thinks, right? Y'all question things, y'all analyze, y'all don't just accept whatever narrative, right, is handed to you. And that's why these conversations hit different. Because we're not scared, right, to go deeper. And let me tell you something. Once you start diving down the rabbit hole, you realize how much history was rearranged, repackaged, and resold. You start seeing patterns, you start seeing contradictions. You start seeing how certain groups were uplifted while others were erased. And that's why today's conversations is important because we're not just talking about the past, we're talking about how the past shaped the present. And if you don't understand where you came from, you'll never understand where you're going. So today, we're laughing, we're learning, we're challenging beliefs, and we're opening doors that have been locked for generations. Whether these videos are truth, half truth, or straight comedy, we're going to find out together. And I promise you this, by the end of, any live we do, you're going to feel something because when we talk about identity, ancestry, hitting history, and cultural erasure, baby, it hits the soul. And if you're ready to dive deeper, buckle up because we're just getting started. Until next time, this y'all shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble afternoon. And we out.